Tomb of the Spider Queen, grand final time, ladies and gentlemen. We have our best of 5 kicking off with Feel the Heat against Washed Up, and it's gonna be spicy. Feel the Heat making it through the winner bracket into this grand final, and of course, Washed Up after losing in the first round of the tournament, making their way all the way down through the losers bracket into this best of 5 series. And they have had an absolute fantastic performance and fantastic showing in the lower bracket. Let's see if Feel the Heat is able to take them down here. If Feel the Heat is able to do what neither Lauber's fan club nor Last Dance were able to pull off as we're heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen, map number 1 in the best of 5.
Tracer banned out, respect bans coming in from these teams. ETC already taken out, Washed Up. What do we see them ban out here? We've seen Medivh bans consistently throughout, but it's been led through this time so far.
And it's too a Spider Queen. It's a map where you want to also ban a lot of the heroes that have that big wave clear available, of course. And Cassia is a constant thorn in the side of all of these teams. If she isn't banned out, she's oftentimes taken very, very early. Has now been first pick multiple times. You have the first pick available for Feel the Heat here. But yeah, I'm a bit terrified, honestly. I think that Washed Up has shown today incredible games. They were threatened a little bit in game number 2 against Lauber's fan club, but even there they brought it back, and it's going to be very, very difficult to beat them, I feel. Feel the Heat, on the other hand, made it, of course, through the winner bracket, so they have that advantage, and they had, of course, time to also prepare for an opponent. Now they start things off here with Johanna, so good wave clear, good interrupt potential on the channels for the turn-ins. But yeah, it should be a hype series between the two teams.
It should be, with Johanna already on the board. Imperius has been allowed through, Medivh is available. Do we see Washed Up go for that Medivh early? They bring out Deckard and Jaina. First Jaina of the tournament. It was banned once, but it's finally going to be get to be played.
All right, so Deckard Kane back in, the old geezer here, and Jaina for that burst damage. I like that already. So that's obviously also a lot of wave clear that she brings to the table. She's also good at that cam clear, and that will help them to take a bit more control of the map. But what are the picks for their opponent? We got the Tacita plus Ana setup right away as we're heading into the bans. And with that, of course, comes also the question, what gets banned out, as Ultralisk is still to lock in a hero. And his heroes have been the curveballs that Feel the Heat has been throwing consistently. Maiev, Medivh, few others. Let's see what Washed Ban gets rid of here. If it's one of the two, or something completely different. For the offlane, for example.
I think that Maiev would be pretty solid here. And there it goes. Ultralisk, so good at this hero. With Tacita as a follow-up for it, that Warden's Cage becomes even more deadly, so seeing that taken out is still sensible. And even if Tacita gets blown up, Nano Boost Maiev is no joke, so it's a very sensible removal here by Washed Up. Feel the Heat now, with Deckard, Jaina on the board. What are they scared of? What's going to enable these and protect that Jaina, more importantly? Kerrigan. Yep, they just banned the Kerrigan. They don't look at the front lines, they don't look at the tanks, they go for that extra burst that could set up for Jaina, so the Kerrigan is removed.
The question stopped at what are they scared of? I mean, the list is long, but I think at the top of the list is the Queen of Blades. So Kerrigan gets banned. Good riddance. Again, Nick. It's just Nick. Can you ban Nick? Can we ban a player? Is that a thing?
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. As we see Medivh, it does make its way in, and there's the Rexar. So solo lane domination. Medivh to make up damage-wise. It does mean they're sort of double mage. We'll see how well that works out for them, as they do need a main frontliner, a main tank here. But they now have a lot of options of what to really play. They could definitely run a Diablo and it still work, which has been a little less common, but Imperius would fit in here. Anything else they picked here, Garrosh, of course, Portal, Throws, anything would be good.
Yeah, and Masquerade, of course, has so many tools that he can work with now. Played with Imperius. So we got Johanna Imperius at the front. We got the Nano Boost for Tacita or Li Ming. So really, really strong setup for Feel the Heat. I like what they have here. I really like their setup. It's a good lineup for them. Very strong for the map too. A lot of interrupts, a lot of poke that they can run with. And Washed Up, of course, that Medivh is the X factor here. We have Diablo in play as Masquerade locks in his tank, and that sets us up for Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen. First map in the best of 5 series here, the grand final at Method Mayhem at the monthly final. The best of 5 starts us off, and we have Feel the Heat going up against Wash Up. So let's jump into game number 1. Tomb of the Spider Queen, grand final time, ladies and gentlemen. We have our best of 5 kicking off with Feel the Heat against Washed Up. And it's gonna be spicy. Feel the Heat making it through the winner bracket into this grand final. And of course, Washed Up after losing in the first round of the tournament, making their way all the way down through the losers bracket into this best of 5 series. And they have had an absolute fantastic performance and fantastic showing in the lower bracket. Let's see if Feel the Heat is able to take them down here. If Feel the Heat is able to do what neither Lauber's fan club nor Last Dance were able to pull off as we're heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen, map number 1 in the best of 5.
Tracer banned out, respect bans coming in from these teams. ETC already taken out, Washed Up. What do we see them ban out here? We've seen Medivh bans consistently throughout, but it's been led through this time so far.
And it's too a Spider Queen. It's a map where you want to also ban a lot of the heroes that have that big wave clear available, of course. And Cassia is a constant thorn in the side of all of these teams. If she isn't banned out, she's oftentimes taken very, very early. Has now been first pick multiple times. You have the first pick available for Feel the Heat here. But yeah, I'm a bit terrified, honestly. I think that Washed Up has shown today incredible games. They were threatened a little bit in game number 2 against Lauber's fan club, but even there they brought it back, and it's going to be very, very difficult to beat them, I feel. Feel the Heat, on the other hand, made it, of course, through the winner bracket, so they have that advantage, and they had, of course, time to also prepare for an opponent. Now they start things off here with Johanna, so good wave clear, good interrupt potential on the channels for the turn-ins. But yeah, it should be a hype series between the two teams.
It should be, with Johanna already on the board. Imperius has been allowed through. Medivh is available. Do we see Washed Up go for that Medivh early? They bring out Deckard and Jaina. First Jaina of the tournament. It was banned once, but it's finally going to be get to be played.
All right, so Deckard Kane back in, the old geezer here, and Jaina for that burst damage. I like that already. So that's obviously also a lot of wave clear that she brings to the table. She's also good at that cam clear, and that will help them to take a bit more control of the map. But what are the picks for their opponent? We got the Tassadar plus Ana setup right away as we're heading into the bans. And with that, of course, comes also the question, what gets banned out, as Ultralisk is still to lock in a hero. And his heroes have been the curveballs that Feel the Heat has been throwing consistently. Maiev, Medivh, few others. Let's see what Washed Ban gets rid of here. If it's one of the two, or something completely different. For the offlane, for example.
I think that Maiev would be pretty solid here. And there it goes. Ultralisk, so good at this hero. With Tassadar as a follow-up for it, that Warden's Cage becomes even more deadly, so seeing that taken out is still sensible. And even if Tassadar gets blown up, Nano Boost to Maiev is no joke, so it's a very sensible removal here by Washed Up. Feel the Heat now, with Deckard, Jaina on the board. What are they scared of? What's going to enable these and protect that Jaina, more importantly? Kerrigan. Yep, they just banned the Kerrigan. They don't look at the front lines, they don't look at the tanks, they go for that extra burst that could set up for Jaina, so the Kerrigan is removed.
The question stopped at what are they scared of? I mean, the list is long, but I think at the top of the list is the Queen of Blades. So Kerrigan gets banned. Good riddance. Again, Nick. It's just Nick. Can you ban Nick? Can we ban a player? Is that a thing?
That would be interesting. That would be interesting. As we see Medivh, it does make its way in, and there's the Rexar. So solo lane domination. Medivh to make up damage-wise. It does mean they're sort of double mage. We'll see how well that works out for them, as they do need a main frontliner, a main tank here. But they now have a lot of options of what to really play. They could definitely run a Diablo and it still work, which has been a little less common, but Imperius would fit in here. Anything else they picked here, Garrosh, of course, Portal, Throws, anything would be good.
Yeah, and Masquerade, of course, has so many tools that he can work with now. Played with Imperius. So we got Johanna Imperius at the front. We got the Nano Boost for Tassadar or Li Ming. So really, really strong setup for Feel the Heat. I like what they have here. I really like their setup. It's a good lineup for them. Very strong for the map too. A lot of interrupts, a lot of poke that they can run with. And washed up, of course, that Medivh is the X factor here. We have Diablo in play as Masquerade locks in his tank, and that sets us up for Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen. First map in the best of 5 series here, the grand final at Method Mayhem at the monthly final. The best of 5 starts us off, and we have Feel the Heat going up against Wash Up. So let's jump into game number 1.
We are in, and on the left, coming from the upper bracket, it is going to be Feel the Heat, fighting their way through the upper bracket very well with some solid comebacks and great late game control. It is Feel the Heat. On the right-hand side, though, one of the favorites coming into this tournament, knocked into the lower bracket, but fought their way back, tooth and nail. It is Washed Up with some dominant performances in that lower bracket. They are now here to claim this grand final. Who will come out on top? As we start off with these level 1 talents, it's looking pretty normal across the board, but we do see Force Armor coming in for Li Ming, protection against that Jaina and against the Medivh.
And it's going to be an interesting series just because there's 2 different playstyles that are colliding too. I think generally speaking, we had a much cleaner performance so far from Washed Up throughout this day, but there is always this comeback potential that Feel the Heat brings to the table. They're playing very aggressive, and if you at any point think that you have the game locked in, you're oftentimes proven wrong with just one fight, and then they are aggressively pushing for objectives, for structures, and even for the core. So it's an incredibly volatile team here, and Feel the Heat, they have what it takes to win this entire thing. But it's not going to be easy by any means, because the games that we've seen today from Washed Up were nothing short of incredible.
Couldn't agree more. But the surprises and the plays we have seen from Feel the Heat have been nothing to sniff at. They have pulled back victories that some people might have thought are impossible. As X-Ray, well, it's impossible for him to survive that, as he gets absolutely blasted by Diablo, and they're able to pick up the kill. Medivh even was able to gain a stack from it, as he's up to 7 stacks of that Arcane Rift.
Yep, Ana down, and that's the first kill and the first blood, obviously. So Washed Up is off to a good start here, as they're locking in the first win. And that might just give them enough to also control the bottom of the map to get those Siege Giants. And as they rotate in with even 4 heroes, there's no doubt in my mind that they are walking away with that. Unless, of course, they stall it out for too long, because they are really giving X-Ray and his boys time to fall into that fight, and that's a 4 versus 4 with a double spear against Masquerade and Banana Age, but the camp is now about to be taken. Uh-oh, that's 15 gems on Wit. He needs to be very, very careful here. They lose the camp, they let it go. Portal moved them out. Wit surviving, that was important. He holds the majority of the gems for his team right now.
It was a good Celestial charge, but Diablo was standing in front of Decade here, meaning Decade was safe, and Diablo, with that Soul Shield on level 1, means he was able to tank through that. He only has 45 souls, but it's enough for that little bit of extra protection, meaning he's not too scared of Li Ming, at least in these early stages. His blade looks for the bear, unable to find it. And now, Li Ming, Ultralisk, just going to be able to take care of that Siege Giant. No trouble, really. And even gets away from Misha without putting himself in any particular danger.
Yeah, Hunter-Gatherer, obviously, the talent for Rexa. That doesn't come as a shock on a map that is very globe-heavy and makes for easy rotations between lanes. Even for someone like him. There's the portal as they're going for Tassadar, and Dino is in a very awkward spot and goes down. And they are protecting the gems. They are protecting the gems. They are just basically telling X-Ray, hey, if you want those, then you're more than welcome to try, but you're going to fall too. So that's a little bit of a problem now. That's a fair amount of gems that were lost. I don't really know how many. I think it was 15, roughly. So that hurts.
Blade backs away. Stays safe this time. He took a little bit of damage, but he's fine for the moment. He's gone for the percentage damage again, by the way, to really try and deal with that Misha pressure. As we see, Channel, Nick gets in his gems. They have exactly enough for a turn-in. And Washed Up, they are putting a little bit of pressure onto that turn-in point before they start on the Mercenary camp. They got 3 people here doing this. Ana is going to wait on Feel the Heat side, just going to try and delay that channel so that they get a matched Mercenary camp with Washed Up.
This is dangerous now for Feel the Heat. Level 7 should be ready for both teams at the same time. Misha is just sniffing out the position of Imperius. Nicely done. But that turn-in could definitely hurt. 14 gems are still in the hands of the blue team. Both teams have now enough gems to get that turn-in. And, well, which one is going to walk away with the first Web Weaver wave? They're going for Misha here, trying to take him down. Dequaza with 20 gems at the bottom of the map. Hasn't been able to turn in just yet. Interrupt attempts, maybe. Ultralisk is about to turn in. Deckard Kane moves in. Ultralisk has to retreat for just a moment. And top side, the control is there, but can Masquerade, for example, deliver the 7 gems that he's still holding, as both of the teams are eager to take these bruisers down.
With the wave clear a little bit more effective here by Feel the Heat, but Wit continuing to deny this turn, and this seems to be his job here. Portal has to be used by Hasselhoff to get out, but that's put Blade in a little bit of danger. Uses Celestial Charge to try and escape, caught by Deckard Kane. Solid damage from Nick, he gets out on 13 health.
Yeah, he had, I think, single digits at the beginning when that shot connected. Was down to 9 hit points. He's barely able to make it out. But now the Red Web Weavers will descend, since the Red team used the opportunity to also turn their gems in. So it's time for the first big push in this game.
With the push coming in, Wit once again finds himself many friends, but he keeps his social distancing up, puts on his protective iron skin, and is able to hold the line. They clear out the rest of that mercenary camp. Now the focus will be to take out these Web Weavers. Li Ming has been left alone in this top lane. Ultralisk going to have a little bit of a rougher time with this defense as Misha pushing in, but there's very few minions to support this one.
Yeah, bot lane, first tower is about to fall, second one is also taking a beating. Jojo is in the middle and should be able to deal with that, but up at the top, I mean, they're really splitting the attack on 3 lanes right now. And as long as they take the wall on every single one of them, they're going to be in a great position. I don't think that the fort is going to fall here. But the wall at the bot lane has been destroyed. Wall in the middle can still take damage. That fight continues, though. The old man gets saved by the shield of Medivh, who by now is up to 24 stacks on his baseline.
Not bad. Over halfway done. Can he complete this quest? Wit is spotted by this Medivh, which prevents any cheeky plays, as level 10 is now hit. Iron Skin dropped, which means instead it's Blade who is targeted. Celestial Charge dodges the scroll of ceiling, means he has to take a long way round back to his base. Ring of Frost comes out, and Blade is popped.
Yeah, the Ring of Overkill in this case. Blade gets eliminated. That ring wasn't even needed anymore. I mean, he felt the chill, but that was all. So that's a beautiful kill that they locked in here. And a nice move from Nick. Out of mana anyways, he has to retreat. At the top, they're interrupting Ultralisk right now. And we still haven't seen the Leyline plus Apocalypse setup that is obviously now available for that wombo that they're trying to run here.
Masquerade portals in, annoys Wit, and leaves. That is the joy of these Medivh portals. Hasselhoff continues to gain stacks, up to 29 now. Creeping his way in towards that completed quest. Speaking of completed quests, Jada, who finishes out the Fingers of Frost. With Imperius waiting on his level 10, we're seeing both teams just trying to farm up again. Neither one seems to want to go for a full engage yet.
3 kills to 0. Now the attack for Dino. They're trying to take him down too, but of course he's able to sneak out with Ana supporting him here. Bottom of the map, Blade still taking a little bit of a beating here. He is up against the Siege Giants, needs to defend them. That fountain is going to fall sooner rather than later, and with Rexa sitting along and defending those Siege Giants, it's tricky for him to make a move. So he's going to lose that. There's the Leyline, there's the APOC. They get the stun in, but they can't really follow up on anything. The problem is that Jaina's now all of a sudden getting attacked from Wit as they're trying to shut the damage of the combo down. So that's 2 ults that were just blown, and it didn't do anything for them, to be fair.
Masquerade is using Shadow Charge there to a minion to escape, as everything else was already burned onto Nick to keep him alive. Wit takes some damage, but backs away.
Yeah, the blue
Plays it safe.
Yep, blue web weavers are now coming down. They got the turn in. I mean, again, it's not really the biggest of lead. It's more so the walls that they were taking down. There's no fort destroyed yet. There's only 1 fountain eliminated. It's pretty much even in experience. So, despite the fact that these initial walls have been dropped, it doesn't do anything for you if you can't follow up with the second web weaver wave and drop the forts themselves. So right now, there's still more than enough potential for Feel the Heat to break through this, take a fort down, and start to claim elite in structures. And they're trying to do that in the middle of the map now, with them also getting more and more experience here in the attempt to hit the early level 13. But they take the fountain down, and they're putting more pressure on the Masquerade. But Tarzops is of course close with his 33 stacks, and he's going to support him as much as he can.
Banana Rage also keeping Masquerade very healed up, using those shielding potions as they move forward. They're looking for X-Ray here, but the wraparound Ultralisk with the Nano Boost just eats everyone. They look for Masquerade. Force falls down. The Fort's gonna die, and Masquerade's out of places to retreat to. He's gonna try and use a spider, and he's gonna get out and feel the heat are gonna be feeling Yevla Spindel.
Hazu just lost 34 stacks.
No.
Hazu was just taking down a Medivh with 34 stacks. He lost the entire setup. And that is a disaster for him. Not only was it a beautiful double kill, it eliminated the stacks. On the other hand, that's a nice double kill too, and that's a lot of gems that are down the drain. So it's an interesting one now. That's a lot of gems lost, and that's another turn-in for sure. But, oh well, they're going for boss even. But Hazu, of course, is now in a situation where he's reset to 0, and that is problematic.
So, boss being started by Washed Up. Even without those Medivh stacks, they were still able to pick up those counter kills and give themselves a little bit of space on the map, and as such, boss is going to be the priority here. Get that push in the top lane, combo it with the Web Weavers, and this is where Washed Up can begin to get a snowball. As it is picked up, let's see how far they can push this. Right now, Rexar is soaking in the middle lane and keeping the pressure on there as well to help clean out that camp with that Spirit Swoop. And top lane is, well, pretty gone.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance anymore. So they get a lot out of those 2 kills. I mean, it's pretty much the most that you can possibly get out of a double kill. You deny gems to the opponent, you get turn-in, and you get boss. Hazu's loss on the stacks is annoying, but he might be able to recover that. That's another setup with 36 gems. Johanna need to be super careful. If she falls too, then this is pretty much lights out here. So with that double push top, they're going for keep already, and I'm not quite sure if they can lock it down. Oh, now we are... Oh, the iPok! And they get every single one. The ring! And it connects with 2. They want to go for the kills. They keep his HP. There could be a kill against Masquerade, but it's Dino that falls first. Nick survives. They take down Li Ming. And oh my god, it is a bloodbath up at the top lane.
And Blade, he's desperately looking for a turnaround. He's got that percentage damage. He's got that level 7 holy further, but he can't find the right targets. Masquerade tanks through. They pick up the 2 kills. The boss crushes its way through the keep. And that is a keep going over to Washed Up as they look to turn in the rest of their gems. They're all a little low on health. That was a little scary for them. Get those out of the way, make sure they're not in trouble anymore, and can afford to play more aggressive.
And how insane was Masquerade in that last fight? I mean, he looked at a few hit points and said like, it's fine, and just re-engages. Dodges out on the Imperia stun, and bam, Shadow charges in again. It's like hit points, don't need hit points. I got a Medivh behind me, boys, no problem. No hit points, no problem, we got this. Yeah, he's crazy, like absolutely crazy, and it worked for them, so they got more and more kills. They got the gems turned in, and the keep topside is already down, so it's a great position for them to be in.
Misha survives an engagement, is still here for the interrupt. Witch with 57 gems, really trying to turn those in. Good sleep dart. They're gonna try and turn it onto Masquerade. Oh, but the ley line, APOC, can they time it? They get 1, but they kill off X-Ray, removing the healing output. Blade stuck in the blizzard. He's gonna get focused down. He's got 35 gems, and Blade is taken out.
Get wrecked, and Wit is on 58. They want him to. Oh, that Iron Skin comes back at the perfect moment in time. Wow, it hurts. They're losing so many gems, so much momentum here. 9 kills against 2, a level ahead. Hazu still desperately trying, of course, to get more stacks together for his baseline. He's back to 10. Could be a game where he doesn't even complete it, but the rate at which this is going, they might just end the game before he has a chance to complete it.
Dino getting scouted by Medivh, nicely done. And they're just going to crush through this bottom lane, clean this up as fast as they can, with the Web Weavers on their way, and it's the last remaining fort. And Feel the Heat are now on keep defending duty. They're already down 1. This does have a mean they have less lanes to defend, but they just have to deal with the catapults. Oh no. Oh, Ultralisk. That wasn't a good time. He's taken out.
Yeah, Ultralisk again with a quick drop here, as we've already seen a couple of times, and yeah, they're pretty much saying he's dead anyways. It's fine. You don't have to pause. Just like restart this thing and let's go. So it's these quick disconnects that he has. He has already back to business, so they caught it a little bit too late. So Ultralisk down, and now the map, of course, opened up. Top lane gets pushed here in the middle. The keep is under pressure. Yeah, rough times. Wit is at 67 gems, and he's the frontliner. He's sitting there like, guys, I kind of need to peel for you, but at the same time, I really don't want to.
Keep going down. Webweaver's already made it to core in top lane. The keep will drop here, and Washed Up could maybe be looking at a core attempt. Leeming's back in 12-second Masquerade. He's moving in. 2 catapults coming in with this. They have the portal to leave, and they are going to do so. They want that last keep, and they want Blade, and they're going to get him. And with that second kill, they are continuing to stagger deaths on the side of Feel the Heat as they move in. The core shield is slowly ticking down.
Yeah, and they still have a few reviewers even remaining. There's the Apocalypse. They're going to go for Ana, but that didn't quite work out. There's an additional stun into the core, though, as they're trying to get even more damage connected. With the 68 gems, is still trying to chase them down here, doing what he can, but he can't overcommit. If they turn it against him, he's going to be in trouble. Shield has nearly been eliminated. Core hasn't been scratched, but this is a 2-level lead. This is level 20. They can go for boss again, and oh, this is just brutal. What a first game for Washed Up.
What a first game indeed. There's been moments of power from Feel the Heat. Portal, they saw no members of Feel the Heat on the map, and they don't want to risk Li Ming, so they just back out and leash the boss.
Yeah, and they're going for the stun. Oh no!
Wall them off. Oh, Portal. They go further. They're looking for Blade. Blade's in trouble. There's the kill, though, onto Rexa. Masquerade barely gets out there with that soul shield value.
That's 71 gems that they lost. 71 gems. They can easily trade. That's no problem. Just pushing the opponent back from the gems was all they needed to do here. And catapults are now again on the core, and the shield is falling quickly. This is a disaster for Feel the Heat on this first map. Catapults are already taking the shield down. They're not going to finish the game, but they're going to do some serious damage. There's the lockdown against Blade. The ring. And he is not going to have any chance to get away. Unless, of course, they let
Blade? He's going to be chased down. Finally, Nick picks up the kill.
Yeah, we call this Mercy, and then Nick is like, what? Mercy?
Ooh.
Never heard of that shit. So he comes in, chases him down, and takes the kill. But now he's in a bit of trouble. Trying to ride away with the money pick.
Oh my god.
Okay.
And the only thing that saves the rest of Washed Up there is the fact that Ultralisk is out of mana. And as such, he will have to back up a little bit, but they're going to move forward. And I'd love to say now they can turn in and look for a turnaround play, but with what gems, Khaldor? As Masquerade is being chased down, bless shield, and they're going to get the team wipe off this.
Quite. The old man is still alive, but for how much longer, that's the main question.
Good save, Misha.
I mean, again, I've seen this movie before, so we've seen this 2 or 3 times today already. Can they actually gain that momentum that they need to make something happen here and turn it around? They got level 20 at least, but the problem is at the top lane. That's a massive wave that pushes onto the core now with 3 catapults. And yeah, Imperius is of course back and can still save this, but yeah, bottom keep has also taken even more damage. Maybe with the boss, but there's still towers at the top at the fort, so I don't know.
Waveflare coming out. They're about to lose Twilight Archon. They've got nothing to auto, so that's going to go on to cooldown here. Full 90 seconds before they get that back. And Feel the Heat. They're just clearing out lanes, but they've weakened Keep. All they have to do is do that again. All they have to do is to let Ultralisk carry one more time.
Yeah, all that Wash Up has to do is just like play for the late game. Which we are in more or less. 18 minutes in, these catapults are starting to hurt. Bot lane is experiencing that, and that's where we see Nick headed now with Jaina to take another Siege Giant camp, which means that if bot lane does not get defended and pushed out, those Siege Giants with the catapults together will easily take the top keep, which is the last main structure standing outside of the core for the blue team.
Johanna clearing out the lane, making the most of that fanaticism. Really holding. And you can see where he's looking for his opportunity, looking to try and pick someone off. But his team backing up. Neither team has anywhere near enough gems for a turn, and it's a little closer for Feel the Heat right now. Careful, Wit. As Misha was looking for it, Iron Skin expires.
Still have that boss up. That's, of course, a big part of this. And the wombo combo is ready. So if you get one kill out of it, that is oftentimes already enough. Masquerade eats the stun. He's at 31 gems. There's the ring. Doesn't connect with anything, but we have the ley line. We got the APOC. Not properly timed, but it doesn't matter because they were isolating Li Ming through it, so they didn't even need it. And now with the Hellgate, the move for Ana, and X-Ray gets pushed into the wall, tries to get away here. Misha's jumping in, X-Ray on the run, the entire team trying to move away as top lane gets once again pushed by the minion wave and catapults coming onto the core. The entire team for Feel the Heat is in disarray, and that's 3 catapults on the core now, 20 minutes into the game.
With Li Ming gone, they don't really have a defense. They're not even dealing with these catapults. Minions will clean them up, but not for a little bit. Actually, they have a catapult of their own, and that does help, meaning that the shield isn't even taken off. They get lucky there, as here comes the stun from Misha. Goodbye, Blade, and that might be it. Dino, he's in Archon form. One last chance to hold this. Nano Boost is in 10 seconds, and they're forced to back up, but they're staggering deaths again.
Also, this catapult had no business attacking the top lane catapult. That was a mid lane catapult. Know your lane. Stay in your lane. I mean, seriously. These drivers are all over the place. Not only in Battlefield of Eternity, apparently also Tune of the Spider Queen. But now that we have a 5 versus 4, it's boss time and you are in a checkmate position. You can't fight the fight, but you also can't give them the boss. So now we go for X-Ray again. Has a ley line. They can chase Ana down, but first of all, they seem to be looking for Jojo. Ana is dead as Diablo comes in and finishes the job. 5 versus 3 on the map, and with the help of the portal, they can quickly rotate towards the boss again for the second try.
They keep staggering the kills. This is perfectly played by Washed Up, giving Feel the Heat no chance to fight and turn this around in their favor. Now with Ana gone, Li Ming isn't going to have that support. Masquerade is here. He's zoning out Dino. Dino trying to get some harass in. There's no way they're going to be able to steal. Li Ming is hovering around, though. Are they actually going to try and take this 3v5? They do look for it. Wit survives once more. Blade is back. They're trying to force the leash at least, but Nick uses the portal to dodge that out. Here's the stay a while. Boss has actually been abandoned here. APOC onto Blade. They're going to kill him off again.
Look at the bot lane, the mid lane. Catapults are pushing on every single lane now. The bottom keepers fallen a long time ago. That there is just a massive barrage of catapults now coming in. And this time, nobody's going to defend that. The shield is already falling as the fight continues up at the top. But this is just delay tactics. Ana is coming in with that massive wave clear of hers to try and take the catapults down with the pew pew pew. Is able to get one towards the end. But the core is already down to 50%. 46. And it's not going to get any easier. 43. They're losing way too much ground here.
Leyline with Medivh cheats. Not going to hit anyone. They sent that out a little wild there. That does mean that's not available. 19 seconds left for Blade on that Imperious.
Yeah, but
Nano Boost is up.
They just have to push your boss. You can move away with the portal if the opponent pushes in, but you keep them away from the mid and the bot lane. It's all they got to do.
Yep.
You just stay at boss the entire time and you let the catapults win the game. That's all they're doing here.
No
if they can pick a kill and take a kill and win the fight, that's great. If not, the catapults are going to win it for them. Johanna is down, and here we go. Catapults are again on the course. They are making the play for Dino.
Nano Boost, one last chance as Ultralisk goes in with the Hail Mary. Here comes the sleep, but the targets have all portaled away. Twilight Archon still up, though. They forced the leash on the boss, but the core catapults are back, baby, and they are doing damage. That is a value catapult for Feel the Heat. That's going to keep them in this game. Nope, it's distracted.
Yeah, and that's game right now. So perfect play. You stall it out. You let the catapult finish the job. And here we go. 5% left. And there's the final hit. GG as Washed Up takes the victory in game number 1 against Feel the Heat. As we head into Infernal Shrines, map number 2, ladies and gentlemen. The best of 5 series continues. The grand final. Washed Up has the lead against Feel the Heat. as we have seen our first map already play out with a pretty dominant performance towards the end in a checkmate position by Washed Up, fighting for the boss over and over again, forcing the opponent to stay at the top lane while the catapults dealt with the core. So nicely done. And we're starting our second draft off with an ETC ban again.
ETC has that potential, of course, for those big turnaround plays. The Mosh Pit is a game-changing heroic. So seeing that banned out is why we've been seeing ETC so highly prioritized. So getting that out of here, very sensible. Yrel has also moved her way from a sometimes pick into an immediate ban situation. So we see Yrel taken out by Washed Up. Feel the heat now. We've been seeing them ban Zarya pretty consistently. Will they continue down that route? No, they ban Tracer.
Okay, Tracer gets bad out on Infernal Shrines against Nick and his boys. But, I mean, again, it is Infernal Shrines right now, so it's a little bit of a different ballgame here. We're still talking about the Cassia ban towards the end. You don't want the opponent to first pick her. But there's obviously on the tank side now Johanna that has to really be considered as usual because of all the wave flare that she brings. Blaze is another one of those melee characters that oftentimes plays a role here, as does obviously Leoric. All three of them are fantastic, with Malthael being another option depending on what the opponent picks here. But yeah, let's get this started. And it's Greymane, a Greymane opening as a first pick. Don't see him that often as a first pick right here, but that immediately changes the setup slightly with what you want to go for, because it puts all of a sudden a very different focus on
Greymane, like you say, with the Tyrael priority, it also puts Rhaegar in that danger situation of, do you want to ban it, do you want to take the risk, or do you want to maybe early pick some counters to it? Tyrael is not the most standard first picks to try and avoid that. Instead, Medivh's back, the respect wasn't given, and as such, Hazuob is going to pick it up for the second time, and this time they get the Imperious.
Yeah, Hazu's basically saying, guys, I want to play this again. I didn't really do well on the stacks in the last game. I need to make up for it. But Imperious, of course, is insane either way. Masquerade is currently locking that in as a main tank, but of course he can shift that easily onto the offlane. But there is now Malthael plus Ana. So we've seen it before, the Tormented Souls, if you want to go into the Nano boost. But this is an early commitment to this setup. And the problem with it is, if your opponent starts stacking stuns, then it can easily take that down, because you can either blow Malthael up quickly, or you can just simply employ a CC chain that locks him in place once that the setup hits, and then his value there is heavily diminished. So that can be counteracted, and I want to see how that influences now the pick pattern for Washed Up.
Removing the Zool, which means we may be seeing a more multi-front line composition from Washed Up, which is interesting because we do have that Malthael already in play. So it is a bit more of a curious ban out here.
I mean, not necessarily. A triple frontline is something that we've seen multiple times with Zul, because you can then play the 4-man and have Zul rotate. I mean, you are obviously right. Malthael can do that too. But we have seen, I think every single time we've seen Zul, we've seen him in a triple melee setup, more or less.
I mean, more on the lines of being played into a triple melee. So the Zul already with a multi frontline here, that's what Zul excels into. But with Malthael already on the board, I guess that does mean they probably intend to do it and want to remove remove the second hero who'd get value from it. Here comes Blaze, and there is Deckard, so I guess that does remove that triple frontline idea. But yeah, they still need a damage dealer.
But that's still terrifying. I mean, you got Imperious with stuns, you got Blaze with stuns and follow-up. You can also drop the bunker whenever Malthael comes in, for example. Deckard Kane with his sleep. This is a very, very powerful combo that Washed Up has, and it counteracts a lot of the dangerous elements that we see for the blue team, even before they pick their last two heroes. So now Johanna comes in. If anything, it's a surprise that she wasn't picked before. We have Deathwing together with it. But still, this is tricky. I mean, Deathwing, again, they get to play around it a little bit, but they still have the last pick here for Nick. But the lineup for Washed Up is incredibly powerful.
Washed Up now. Final pickup. They need their damage dealer. And it's going to be Vala. With that Medivh extra protection, they rely on that hyper carry. Vala multi-shot build on this map in particular is absolutely devastating. It's good on every map, but on this map, with that objective, it is incredibly easy to clear it with this build of Vala. This should be solid. It's a good final pickup from Washed Up. Are they going to be able to head 2-0 up in this best of 5 series?
As we are on the second map, Infernal Shrines, and well, off we go. Let's get ready for a little bit more Heroes of the Storm action with Method Mayhem, because Tuesday is Heroes Day. Off we go. We got our Medivh Vala setup with a pretty strong front line with a lot of stuns here for Washed Up, as they are eager to get the second victory in this best of 5 series, whereas Feel the Heat is relying on the power of the aspect of death, Greymane, and the chicken to take the first win and tie the series.
It's not chicken skin though, so it feels bad. It's frozen chicken. There we go.
This one is awesome.
It's a really cool skin. I love it a lot.
Yeah. But now you ruined it because you called it the frozen chicken, and now I can't unsee that. So, yeah,
alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Level 1 talents, we are seeing pretty standard stuff across the board. We've not seen percentage damage from Imperius. It's time to come from Impaling Light. Cooldown reduction on those stuns. Really want to pick up as many hard engages as possible.
Okay, so Medivh, 3 stacks. I have to point it out. Let's see if he loses them again this time. Dainu then again gets locked down and okay, gets out. For a second I thought we would look at the first kill of the game, but not quite.
They're just going to clean out the lane, defending that as best they can. Blaze, he's been chilling in top lane. Finally, Malthael will go up to meet him as Imperius. Masquerade and Nick come down to contest this camp. It's a 3 versus 3 down here in this bottom lane. But here comes Blade, and that's going to force the retreat as Nick suddenly finds himself taking a lot of damage. Hasselhoff is now here for the protection, though. Let's see who's going to make the play. Blade is going to be very hard to deal with at this early stage of the game. And as such, it's looking like we might see this going over to Feel the Heat, especially with Ultralisk coming down here.
Yeah, they are starting to pressure Deathwing a little bit more, but again, the time to really put the pressure on is going to be after level 16 when Vala is Manticore. Doesn't, of course, mean that you can't kill the hero before that, but that's when he will suffer a lot. Nick, in particular, is going to just simply crush here. But, yeah, I mean, he's one of the best players right now, without a doubt. His melee assassins, of course, in particular, are just insane. But look how aggressive Feel the Heat plays. I mean, they're really invading everything. They're moving over to the opponent's side to take their camp away too. And with the frozen chicken zoning them out, they're able to pull it off.
Wit drops it a little low here. Multi-ban sleep dart. Good Iron Skin. That's going to allow Wit to get out of here. He will disengage. This now means Washed Up have to start rotating down and start dealing with these lanes. Gonna be another Black Harvest game coming in for the Malthael. So they are potentially again going for a Tormented Souls game, because even though there is quite a lot of crowd control for Washed Up, it's all very telegraphed.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that worries me a little bit. Because you really have one of these, I don't know, it's one of those setups where if you coordinate it well and if you keep a couple of your abilities just back, once the combo comes through, you can counteract it much easier. And that's the problem. If you leave Malthael uncontested or unchecked when he has the nano boost, then it's absolutely devastating what he can do with the backline. But with Medivh as a setup to save someone with a shield, with all Stack Arcane, to simply put him to sleep here, there are tools to deal with it, and that was missing in some of the earlier matches where the nano boost combo with him was just so strong.
Objective started, slight lead for Washed Up, and you can see Nick hovering around the outside of this. He has punishment now, so he has that huge AoE. Dequazi clearing the lane. A little bit of damage onto Nick, and he does have to be careful of this. Greymane is scary to Avala. 22 to 23. Right now, Malthael really making up for that slight head start we saw from Washed Up. Nick is getting legitimately bullied here by Deathwing, forcing out the force of will. Potion with shield, 31 to 28. Nick needs to get back in. He's the AoE, but it's too late. 39 to 28. They will get Deathwing, but the objective taken by Feel the Heat.
Portal to the face, and now nearly another kill. But yeah, that's 20 stacks for Medivh. And that was good damage from Nick already. So you can see how Deathwing was used to simply zone them out and buy time for the rest of the team to take the objective. But they're not even baiting it over the wall here because nobody else is doing anything. So yeah, at this point they have a mad lead in experience, as you can tell. So that's already good. And they have the initial kill. They lost out on the objective, but I think they're okay with that. But yeah, things... I feel this is going to get a little bit rough honestly, for Feel the Heat if they don't step it up here. Because yes, they won the objective, but you can already tell how much of a problem this entire setup is for them now.
They're getting zoned away very effectively here, as we do see those level 7s coming in now for Feel the Heat to try and match up with this. But a full level behind, like you said, this is problematic. Once they have level 10s, will have the opportunity to try and make their way back in. Nano Boost plus Tormented Souls is scary. That Cataclysm is going to set them up. Those slows will make it a little easier to do. But right now, this is all about Washed Up, holding control and seeing how far they can extend their lead.
Yeah, they're playing solid here. Again, it's always a little bit tricky and weird to say that if the team has only a single kill advantage, right? But you already can tell how after being pressured in the early game, they were now able to extend their lead. They haven't really lost a single hero yet. That might change now, though, because Masquerade gets heavily attacked and gets locked down, which leads to him barely escaping. But he escapes nonetheless, so unfortunate for Feel the Heat. And Nick is just rushing all over the place, stutter stepping his way to victory against Dino, who now has to move out. Red Riding Hood is about to take the big bad wolf down, if that continues. Here comes again Masqueraders. They're making the play for Wit this time, and yeah, there is nothing that he can do about it. He goes down. That's the second kill. 29 stacks now for Hazo Ops. Looking good. They're really looking good here.
Nick is just uncontested in these games, although he does eat some meteors to the face. He is going to just blast through this bottom lane, and they're going to set themselves up for a 4-play. They even Portal, looking for Dino, but he's already out of there.
And that push behind the fort allows him, of course, to get even more damage onto the fort itself. And Nick's mechanics here, and him just simply stutter stepping to Glory, keeps him also just fully stacked on the Hatred stacks. It's just exactly what they need here. So he's never really dropping off. He's just standing there and getting the damage out, getting the attacks in, and it's problematic. I mean, once again, we have Wit coming in, and immediately he starts dropping in HP. There's level 10 now on the board. There's a ley line now as a setup. You have the stay a while and listen. It's a very, very powerful position to be in for Washed Up, especially with that lead that they have in the series.
Portal comes through, holding the line for the moment. They don't find anyone, so they're just going to use it to clear the lanes. There are those Tormented Souls, and the Bellowing Roar. That could be a big turnaround talent here for Blade, allowing them to survive these team fights a little bit more effectively. Hasobs, by the way, up to 32 stacks on their Arcane Rift, that Master's Touch. He was pretty close to this last time in the last game. Let's see if he's able to hold on to him this time.
This is going to be determining on how this is going, because if they can get another Punisher and push with it, then it might change, but just imagine what... Yeah, exactly, here we go. This is exactly what I meant. Ultralis gets completely locked down, and they're dropping him. There's no issue at all with that Malthael combo. They see an opening, they take it. Now here's another stay a while and listen as they are trying to go for X-Ray. Well, that's a stay a while and get wrecked, baby! But getting wrecked means that in this case, they are actually getting wrecked, because that turned against them and 2 fall. How the hell did that happen that quickly? I would have bet money that X-Ray and Blade would both fall here, but instead it's a triple kill against the red team.
Dino hiding off to the side as that first engage came out, and the second health bars were dropped a little low as they were trying to fight Deathwing with that Dragon Soul. He dropped them a little low, and then suddenly Greymane comes in, picked up the first kill, and was able to snowball with that second. And finally, Feel the Heat beginning to gain a little bit of momentum as they are going to take their second objective of the game.
Honestly, that one, it was huge. That was really needed. I was terrified that they lose the objective, that they lose two more heroes in that fight, and then it's an endless snowball in favor of Washed Up. That battle was so important, and that they were able to recover it after initially losing Malthael to this nice coordinated setup from Washed Up. That was big. And now, of course, it's starting to equalize a little bit more. Bunker already forced out as well. Nick comes in too. The Quas is a bit low. Quest is completed for Hazu. That's good. Time to feed, baby. But now the chance, of course, to slowly fight back into this. But I like it. This is definitely making this a lot more intense. I was afraid that we would see a storm, but that opening, that was good. They're showing some signs of life on the side of Feel the Heat, and they are definitely showing their skills now. That's great.
Feel the Heat are back into the game at this point, evening up the talents Leyline, Cam Steal, see ya. As the portal's out, they turn it around, they're looking for the kill, and wow. Washed Up say, oh, I'm sorry, you tried to make a comeback. As they pick up the kill and steal their camp, and they're just going to finish what they started in bottom lane.
Ta-da! Deathwing up at the top again, going straight in for the Terumo. Over here, careful, Hazu. I know you got done with the stacks, but still. All right, off you go. Portal out, but they're still pushing this, and they want the fort, and there's no real reason why they shouldn't get it now.
Bless Shield, there's the Force of Will again, keeping Valor alive. Masquerade backing out. They keep it safe for the moment. They got the bottom fort. That's 1 for 1 in terms of forts right now, as the Mercenary Camp will again be started up by Washed Up.
One of the reasons why I'm just worried generally for the blue team is I was expecting them to do a bit better at the beginning of the game, and I'm really terrified for Deathwing once that Vala has Manticore. Even more so when we have Faf like Quiver, but you can already tell how much work Nick is doing even before he has his level 16 talent. I mean, he is topping the damage in the game easily with 41,000 compared to the 26k that we see for Greymane. But once that Manticore is in, Deathwing is going to suffer even more than he already does. I mean, Nick is pretty much keeping Blade on his toes with Deathwing the entire time, and with the Dragon that's pretty difficult. So once he has a 16, he is going to wreck them. His stutter stepping is just absolutely fantastic, and he has all the support that he needs to pull it off. He knows he can go deep because he has Medivh behind him for the portals, for the shields, and he has a real nice double front line that helps him out as well.
Masquerade finds Wit on the rotation. The second that Iron Skin expires, Wit is in danger. He has to Bless Shield just to guarantee he leaves. That's how scared they are right now. As Washed Up pile on the pressure. They've got a couple minions here. They are working on the second fort.
Yeah, and we're talking a lot about the Svala plays, but of course on the other side you have Dino, who proved in one of those team fights already how quickly he can turn the battle if he just gets the kill. But it all also started with him taking Vala down. And pretty much what is being played here by Washed Up is one of those old school Vala hyper carry setups that we saw back in the days when you went double support with it. Now they're subbing that in with Medivh and they have the double front line. But if you can take Vala down, the same pattern of course still holds true. She is the one delivering most of the damage. So once she's dead, once she falls, the team fight's yours. And then you can really snowball it. So if Greymane gets the drop on her again, that might just be the way to win this for the blue team.
And we have Manticore. Now available for Valor, as they already move forward. Wit just eats a lot of damage. So they are now ready. They have stable portal now. They have even more safety. And they're going to be ready to make their play. Nick already bullying Wit, just ticking away at that health piece by piece. Ultralisk, nice teleport, but he's suddenly in no man's land. He's going to drop the Tormented Soul's going to go to the backline. Nano Boost is here, but Tormented Soul's already expired. So it's all up to him in the backline now, but he's zoned away Nick, and that is already mission accomplished as Decan is dropped super low. Deathwing with the engage, and they pick up the kill.
Sucked back in with the Condemner. He would have escaped through the portal, so that was important. But there's the strafe. There's the kill. Nick is able to lock one in, but it does come at a cost. Blaze falls too, as Deathwing is able to drop him. 2-for-1 trade in their favor. 5 kills to 5. The objective not taking it, but it seems like Feel the Heat will get another Punisher in this game.
3 in a row. They're going to be able to get that pressure onto the top lane here. With that, Washed Up. They didn't want to re-engage, didn't have their support. They were outnumbered by 1. They're just going to let it go, head out, re-soak. And it's really impressive to see Washed Up continuously get kills, get picks outside of combat, but they've got to win an objective eventually, or at least win a team fight where they can push in bot lane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, objective gets dominated by the blue team. And it's really impressive to me that they were able to win all 3 here, and that they also got those 2 counter kills. The Condemned just came at the perfect moment in time when they were trying to drop Deckard, because he was already channeling on the portal, and it would have been insane. But they can't really push the top side, as you can see, so they let the Punisher do his thing. Instead, they're moving down to the bottom of the map in an attempt to take the fort down here, which they should be able to pull off. I mean, Ekbaza is still lingering around. Should honestly move back here. There's nothing to win in this position. He can poke them down a little bit, but Ana can heal it up easily. Wit, of course, has taken a lot of damage because the fort itself. was starting to take him on. But now, here comes the portal again as Hazu moves in. Vala isn't there yet, neither is Deckard Kane. So they're slowly coming in, but Masquerade is low. You gotta be careful with this.
That percentage damage that Ultralisk offers. He's up to 140 stacks. Good stun though by Blaze. Trying to get the damage out, but Leyline. Can they make it? Can they make it? The Bellowing Roar trying to keep them alive. They're holding the line. Nick is looking for a kill, but he cannot find it. With a beautiful Bellowing Roar, that saves the day. Blade keeping Feel the Heat in this.
What a retreat. Holy hell. That's at least 3 heroes that could have potentially fallen there, and they are able to take the fort, they are able to take the camp, and they're able to get out. Not bad. That was really on the line. So, whew, nicely done by them, but that was tricky. And again, the damage is just mounting up for Nick. He's at 63,000 right now. Doesn't really take him much longer, and he's going to double the damage of the second highest damage dealer in this game.
Once again, Dequaza makes his way up to top lane, here to defend. Portal's out. This will allow Nick to join in the moment's notice, but right now, they're just playing on the defensive. They're trying to race themselves and double soak as well to race to that level 20. However, Deathwing's already in the bot lane, doing the exact same thing, trying to soak his team to level 20 here, and he's doing a little bit of a better job.
That's half a level for them. I guess both of them will be able to have it for the next objective, or at least they should.
Should do.
And then Farfly Quiver is in. And there's obviously
That's
also
true.
great ults coming through in Storm Talons for the blue team. That's not really the issue. It's just really that it feels that some of the frontliners are going to suffer so much more once we're having the 20s ready for washed up. But Feel the Heat they're playing a great game here. But there's a rotation again as they're trying to go for Deathwing. Yeah, Blade is able to get out.
Gets out,
It's a
burns
clutch
the
one.
Cataclysm. He does survive. The fact he's alive for this next fight is important. He won't have Cataclysm available. That is now on that 75-second cooldown, but they are still in this, and they're going to hit level 20 and have it available.
It's a really, really close game. I love it. It's a fantastic second game for the grand final. And here we have the level 20 talents on both sides, actually. That's, of course, the Farfly Quiver. Medivh is cheating, as usual. We have the upgrade for Deckard Kane on top of that, the Fortified Bunker. And yeah, it's going to be party time now. So camps are taken, top side. We have a very similar situation in structures, but there is still the fountain in the middle. So with the shrine now popping down at the bottom of the map, that is important. But let's see what Nick with the extra range can now pull off here. And this is going to be one of the most important fights of the game now. First fight on level 20 talents.
Risky pickup for Blade here. He's gone for the Stood in the Fire, his ult upgrade, which he won't have for another 20 seconds as Nick bullies Wit out of lane. However, positioning advantage, slight head start for Feel the Heat as they did get the better positioning as Dynow is looking to maybe pressure Nick here. Needs that healing, needs a potion. Good scrolls coming out from Deckard.
Yeah, and they are starting to close that gap very rapidly. But just look at the damage that Nick does right now. He's absolutely insane at this point. He has the range now on top of the damage output, and he's using it. But here comes the Old of Ultralisk. This is exactly what they need to do. The Tormented Souls. What can he do with that setup? That's the big question, as we, of course, once again have Medivh cheats out already. Here comes the play for Dequaza. The ult is out. Ultralisk is in trouble. They're trying to go for Masquerade. Is that the kill? Yes, it is. No counter kill yet. The opening kill for the blue team.
Great kiting there. We saw the Medivh cheese, like you said, it was solid. Here comes the strafe. They're really trying for this, but the health bars are too high. Ultras into the back like Conflagration, shutting down the engage. Another objective going over to Feel the Heat as we see the full retreat coming out of Washed Up, making their way all the way back to the keep, and they've still not won a single objective.
It's insane. It's honestly insane. It feels every time like Feel the Heat is just a moment away from losing multiple heroes, and they have such a nice control when they're retreating, and they win objective after objective, and as the game continues, that gives them so much pressure here as these objectives scale, and they're going for keep now, and they have also the lanes pushing everywhere. It's a very great game. It's an impressive game by them. I mean, seriously, kudos. This is such good play out of them.
Stuns come out, Dayquaza, he's trying to hold, but the core is in trouble. Ooh, bit of an overextension by Ultralisk, though. He goes down. He's going to quickly return as the core is taking damage. Medivh cheats, gonna catch everyone. That gives them time to clean up the Punisher. Stay a while, gonna buy them time here. Dayquaza with the stun. Down goes Greymane. Have they gone too far, Khaldor? The Punisher is defeated. Every lane is being pressured, but Nick forces back the Deathwing. The core survives on 87%.
But they're starting to lose even more keeps, so they move towards the top side now, where Hazu is trying to prevent the worst from happening. Nick is also helping him out as much as he can. They're holding on to those keeps, at least for now. 7 kills to 7, but you look at the minimap, it's a huge difference in structures. We have 87% on the core. They survive to fight another day, and they can still win this, but it's... I mean, they need the kills in the team fights, and it just feels a little bit like, with all the damage that Nick puts onto the table, it's just not enough to quickly give them the kill on a single target when they need it.
Completely agree. He's doing the damage, but it's not fast enough, I think, is the issue. He's being able to burn through everyone, but he can't finish anyone off. Wit, you can see there, he just lost a huge chunk of hit points, but no one's there to finish him because Vala's the starter and the finisher in this roster. And with Farflight Quiver, yes, she's safer, but she's not able to actually finish anyone before they're able to back up and get healed up by Ana.
Yeah, it's 95,000 damage by Vala by now. She's at 175,000 siege. So the numbers are there. But there's nobody else that with range can really contribute enough. The second highest damage dealer for them is Imperius with 40,000. So it's an insane game, honestly. But Feel the Heat also has to be careful, because as good as they're looking right now, with the keep destroyed at the bottom of the map and the other 2 keeps being super low, the core even taking damage, you lose one fight with Medivh and you're in trouble.
Very true. But they have those abilities to turn it around if they do get engaged on. Medivh cheats, respect the elderly. Both these teams are just posturing. Look at how far forward Wit is, scouting the camp. Looks like they're going for the steal, but Masquerade has rumbled that Blade is over here, and they will know that this camp is being taken. Problem is, Greymane is here and cleaning this up very quickly. Stun comes out, and that's going to allow Ultralisk to finish this unless Hasu, Leyline, looking for the steal. He gets the camp, but can they make more out of this? Dayquaza charges a bit too early. Portal in trouble. Nick finally gets a kill onto Deathwing.
Oh my god, that's the problem with Farflight Quiver and how quickly you can get murdered by that extra damage. He goes down, Blade dies, the objective has just been announced, and they are now down for another 45 seconds. Bot lane is open, they have a Greymane. They can't let him go in the core. Look at Masquerade, he's gonna Hearthstone back and just always go for the cancel. They need to prevent this, and they know it too. We have Blaze already in the middle because they want to make sure that they're holding on to those keeps no matter what happens. But Vala is still topside, and they're going for the objective there.
Medivh sees this is happening, scouts with Portal first, and then uses his body to keep an eye on this, make sure they know what's happening. You already mentioned that we do have Dayquaza chilling in base, making sure that he has full vision of everything here, and that they're not going to get caught out. Down goes the catapult that might have held the lane and washed up in the bot lane, meaning that we do have to see Dayquaza make his way in to defend that.
Yeah, I mean, they have Medivh. That's obviously one of the best things now, because he is just sitting there and saying, like, I know exactly where that Greymane is, and he's nowhere near that core, so we're Gucci. But they're taking the camps, that of course puts pressure onto the lanes, that forces heroes to be on the defense and take those lanes down. But we are also 24 minutes into the game, so the Arcane Punisher, which is literally the first objective that gets taken by Washed Up, is the strong one. So the fort is going to fall. You might get more. Blaze is still defending the middle of the map right now, and has to. But let's see how much is possible here for them. Because Blade, again, is already chunked down to 75% of his hit points, just simply by Nick connecting a few auto attacks.
Gonna have to pop the fountain here. Nearly loses armor plates. Here comes Cataclysm. They are going for this, but the portal's already down. And as such, Masquerade backs up easily. He in fact turns around to go back in. Good charge onto Ultralisk. Not enough to finish the job. Dayquaza has arrived. He's given up on bot lane. They're going to try and turn this. Ultralisk, good charge and lovely. The Cure Cleanse comes out with the smelling salts, but Malthael has returned. Blade might not be so lucky though. Gets eaten by the angelic armaments of Masquerade. But Dayquaza, he holds, he portals, he's out.
Yeah, he's out for now, but they're still poking on that keep. Bot lane is obviously pressuring the core of the red team as well, so they need to fall back too. But you can tell how dangerous this setup is. Once that you get some momentum and get a few kills in, you're good to go. Honestly, if he doesn't have no one can stop death on 20, this might not be game, but they would have lost the keep and way more than that. So that ult literally saved their ass.
Yeah, there's a good chance this would absolutely be over if that had been the case. As Dayquaza cleans this up, doing the best he can. He's going to take a little bit. He doesn't have the all the wave clear talents here, but he's Blaze. Not going to be a huge problem for him. Just means he's going to be there for a little bit.
Vala is now doubling the damage of Greymane. 110,000 against 54,000. That's what we're looking at right now. It's incredible. Like that, those damage numbers are nuts. But again, she is the main damage for the team. So if she is put under pressure and has to kite away, the team is losing out on a lot here.
Nick holds. Here comes the Molten Breath. They burn through the tower. Nick just eating away. He's burning through him. The percentage damage on Manticore is so strong, forcing him to back up. Medivh sees where everyone is. In the meantime, Blaze continues to split push bot lane. This is just so much pressure.
Yeah, it's ridiculous watching the hit point pools whenever Nick is just auto-attacking someone. It's really ridiculous. And he obviously is playing also a very dangerous game because they're going to try and turn on him whenever they see an opportunity here. But every attack matters because you're keeping the opponent at bay and try to force them into a fight. It's 9 kills to 7. We are 27 minutes nearly into this game. There's the stun with... Oh! Blessed Shield comes out too and he barely survives this. But what an explosive fight again.
And we are seeing Washed Up, keeping the fear in field. The Heat Spear comes out, pressure Blade as Wit moves forward. No Blessed Shield available, but the fort is down. Even though they are still a keep down and the rest of their keeps aren't looking great, Washed Up are still trying to control this game and hold map position, even with that disadvantage.
They're putting Blaze back. They sacrificed top keep. They have just sacrificed the top keep. I don't think that is going to be the time. Him moving back into the middle because they were expecting a fight is, yeah, that's the end of the keep. Actually, if he would have stayed, he could have defended it, but they are going for the team fight instead. They have to win this one now.
It's a Frost Punisher. This could end the game. This is bot lane. If Washed Up can take this, they could push through bot and finish this. Like you said, they've given up the keep for this. They start out Greymane. That's a good target. Die now. Focus down. We see the active reload keeping him alive. Nick got stunned out there by Deathwing, who's in the backline. Masquerade getting zoned as Wit and Die now forced to back up. The objective, 18-9, currently in favor of Feel the Heat. But Nick is wrapping around. He's doing the damage. One armor plate down on Deathwing. Looking for the second. The core is taking a little bit of damage. There's only one catapult.
Yeah, but still, they don't have the time here. That catapult is murdering. The second one is coming in already as we speak. So the shield is about to go down. And the second one, as I mentioned, is there any second. They need to win this quickly.
Minions.
Minion wave, maybe, but that's going to be clutch.
They're gonna have to just believe in the power of minions right now. It's the opposite of a minion as we see Vala trying to hold. Minion waves will clean out the catapults with Malthael down. He will respawn, but the Punisher is taken by Feel the Heat. The core is on 18%. They don't not only have to defend this out of lane, but they have to deal with the potential of a Greymane backdoor as they are moving back. They're trying to kite this Punisher, but it looks so healthy.
Yeah, this is pretty much game. Dino needs to make it on the core. That's all that needs to happen here. That Punisher's too strong. We're nearly half an hour into this. This is lights out. It was a great game by Washed Up, but it was just a bit better by Feel the Heat. They controlled this so well. They lose Blade, but again, it doesn't matter anymore. 18 points on the core, even with the shields. There's just no way to hold this any longer. Punisher is already doing his thing. There comes the kill again. Squashed up. They are losing too much. That's game. The 1-1, the tie in this series in the grand final as Feel the Heat locks in the victory. Volskaya Foundry is the map, third game, and the series is tied. Great comeback on the last map. Very close game, actually. Very long one as well. I think, did we cross over into the 30 minutes? I think we did towards the end there.
I did not keep an eye on the timer. I wish I could tell you.
It was really, really close if we didn't. So it was a fantastically controlled map. Nick excelling as the hyper carry, of course, with all the assistance that he had behind it, and fantastic control from Feel the Heat. It really surprised me that they were able to take it in the fashion that they did. It was incredibly disciplined how they won, especially the Shrine fights. So big kudos to them. And now, of course, the question again, who takes the lead in this series, in this best of 5, the grand final at Method Mayhem?
Washed up first ban. Gonna remove the Ana. That's fair. The Nano Boost too empowering and was a big part of their defeat in the last game. That Nano Boost Tormented Souls was too hard to deal with. Very nicely done. And there's the ETC ban.
ETC banned out so often. And Ana, of course, as well together for that. Now we had 2 games already with Medivh. The interesting part about the Medivh games is that he actually won the game where he didn't complete his quest and he lost the one where he finished it. So there's that. But of course, the question, or one of the questions is still, are they gonna respect Medivh on this map? This is another one where you can definitely play with him, of course. And yeah, ban or no ban, that's the question. Last time they even committed to an early pick on him.
Let's see what we get. Final ban for Feel the Heat before phase 2 with ETC already banned. Johanna banned. Tracer still available. That's the issue. There's so many good options. There's another decent hammer map. They're going to take out the Urel.
Urel gets banned out. And Cassia, of course, doesn't get banned. Gets immediately picked. All right, so we got the Cassia play. And that's kind of interesting if you think about it. I mean, at this point, we had expected Cassia to be banned out again, but not this time. They're actually more afraid of Urel than they are of Cassia, so they feel that they can shut Nick down here.
Very reasonable. Cassia is very scary, but this Urel has been a carry in the majority of the games it's been in. We're going to see Medivh stolen away by Feel the Heat. I appreciate the hustle, and they're going to bring themselves out in Imperious as well.
It's exactly the same opening that we saw on Infernal Shrines for Washed Up, so pretty much just a reversal with the double pick at least. Obviously, Cassie was banned out in that one, but yeah, Medivh and Imperia is the opening for them.
What do we see from Washed Up? Junkrat?
Yeah.
And Teriel. Junkrat finally making it into a draft. He's usually picked up, of course, on the Two-Bit Spider Queen. But seeing that Teriel coming in here, it's lots of extra protection. They now have a redonkulous amount of wave clear.
Yeah, they have a pretty strong setup, but the one thing that I find a little bit, I mean, not weird, but it's a bit sad, is that we don't have this Junkrat combo, where you get the first stun in and Junkrat follows up with the mine, pushes the target in. It's always fun when you have combos like this. Oftentimes it happens with ETC, but he has been banned out as the first one. And we have a ban on Lulcio. So there's no speeding around in this one. But I'm pretty curious still what Dino is going to play now for the team.
Final ban out coming in for Washed Up. They're going to take out Garrosh here. Medivh Garrosh still too scary. We could have easily seen Imperious as the offlaner, so that's a very sensible removal here. There's only so much Tyrael can do if he's taunted, so we can't drop that sanctification. So it's a very sensible ban away. Now Feel the Heat. What are we going to see here? Blaze is still available, and Imperious Blaze has been a go-to setup for them so far, for lots of teams, in fact, throughout this month of tournaments.
Malfurion and Zul.
Zul.
Okay, Zul with Medivh as a backup. So that is definitely allowing him to be a lot more tanky in those team fights on the objective. So that could do the trick for them for sure. And Bone Prison into Root, into Imperious done. What's that going to be for the damage? Get the Chromie in or Li Ming and just like
Ooh.
fire on the target. Like there's a lot of lockdown for them now.
Malthael. Double front line for Field. The heat potential for a triple front line, so the Malthael comes in here to try and burn their way through that. And Deckard Cain. Solid healing output, great control over the objective here, the control point on Volskaya Foundry. It's a solid pickup here, and of course stay a while and listen. Maybe they can get a pickup onto Zul or Malfurion with no cleanse available outside of Nature's Cure. If they get the right targets, it could be good. And there is Vala. Very similar to the last game here.
All right, Vala is in, and well, that's game number 3, Volskaya Foundry. So we see a bit of a reversal. We have that Imperious, Medivh, and Vala core, at least, washed up played on the last map, now in this one. So let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Volskaya Foundry, game number 3, washed up against Feel the Heat. The map is Volskaya Foundry. It is game number 3, Feel the Heat, able to tie it on Infernal Shrines, and now washed up, of course, with another attempt to take an advantage here in the best of 5 grand final, as we are headed into our first bit battle. On the left side, Feel the Heat. Towards the right, it's obviously washed up with another attempt to take an advantage in this game.
Level 1 talents pretty normal across the board, exactly what we've been seeing all day, although we do have some hidden talents on the side of Imperius, who's finally going to pick up that Impaling Light, usual level 1 here. And Zul yet to pick. He could go for Shade or Shacklers here, but it's still more than likely going to be Backlash to help deal with Tyrael. We will see, but again, Shackler wouldn't be the worst here, as they do quite a lot of damage to Hasselhoff's. Concussion Mine is good, Blade is focused, and that is first blood.
Yeah, Blade down, so nice lead. Take the early kill here. Again, nothing that forces too much. It gives you a bit more control at the beginning of the game for the rotation. Obviously, now that we're 45 seconds in, it's another 10 seconds roughly until the turret's up on the map. You can't really invade with the setup that they have here, but you can grab your own as quickly as possible so that you have a second available as the objective is being fought over. But yeah, time to shine. Let's see who is able to get ahead here. The early kill, it's kind of nice, but it's all about the first objective.
They start working on this support camp here. Biotic Emitter could be available. It is scouted. Dayquaza focused down, but tanks through, survives this time. And because they can see everyone's down here, this is just going to be the Biotic Emitter picked up by washed up and no congestion.
That looked scary though.
Yeah.
That could have been a kill. That looked for a while as if he was able to just simply come in and get that kill connected. Not quite what happened, but it was clutch. So in the meantime, we have, of course, the towers fought over. And both locked in, or the turrets, one on each side. And the rotation, as you mentioned, is a little bit different. I mean, there's always the... It's always a question of vision. If you can go for the Biotic Emitter first and then go into your own tower, it's nice. You always risk, though, that your opponent invades your camp and steals it away. So there's a couple of rotational things that you can do to spice it up slightly, and it works out for washed up. They walk away with 2 items compared to the one that we have for their opponent, but it always comes as a bit of a risk. Talking about risks, Dayquaza took one moving out on lane without having full vision or information about where the opponent was, and he gets punished for it. Gets taken down, and that's the counter kill from Feel the Heat.
Tried to tank through it. He had some pretty good consumes there, but not enough to hold the line. Gets taken out. Camp's going to be taken a little bit later by Feel the Heat, which means they'll be defending under towers on theirs. As the first objective starting up in 20 seconds. Mercenary camps up in 1.5 minutes. As Hasu, again, just chilling in his bot lane, wave clearing until Malthael returns.
And this is obviously now the question of which team is going to be able to win the first protector and then get maybe even the lead for the second one up at the top side. So right now, with the control point being up, we have the red team attempting to take the lead here. Bit of a move by Blade to delay it for as long as he possibly can and allow Vala to depush the top lane, which is nice for them. That's a good setup against X-Ray on the other hand, but the shield of Medivh keeps him in play, even though he took a lot of damage there. But with Vala depushing the top camp, it means that Junkrat still has to rotate over, so it's going to be some time lost before washed up as Feel the Heat is trying to retake the control of the checkpoint.
Masquerade backs up, takes a little bit of damage from Vala. So they will hold the line for the moment. Emerald Coming in for the Deckard Cain could be a good turnaround talent for them here as Dequars are forced off the point by Blade. So much pressure being driven by this Imperius right now.
Mola soaking the experience at the top again. The level 7 talents are both in. Down in the middle with... Yeah, that Zul main tank is still kind of fun. I mean, it's all old school Alex the Pro G or going full NA. But off we go. The lead for the blue team, 62%. So if they are able to push it all the way to 99, they can force the fight. But now that we have the turrets up again, the blue team is, of course, a little bit quicker to lock that in because it's just now spawning for the red team since they initially prioritized the healing beacon over the turret. Now they are for just a couple of seconds slow.
Masquerade holds, has to use the speed boost to get out of there though because Dino is doing some proper harassment onto him. That's going to allow X-Ray to set this back up. In the meantime though, turret being taken by Washed Up. They now have 3 items here, putting them in a good position to try and set up for a fight. First turret already dropped, traded out for Ultralisks.
Yeah, right now the red team Washed Up, they have to commit to this because of the big advantage. They need to push this into overtime, which they just did, but it means they can't really fall back here. And that's a great setup again for Feel the Heat as they come in with a kill. They take Cassia down. Goodbye, nice knowing you. And they want to follow up with the second one with a little bit in trouble as we have Malthael jumping in, but Dequaza also needs to be careful because he's a bit far out and gets punished right away as Imperius and Zul lock him down, and that's a second kill, plus the Protector in play.
Concussion mine attempt was there. They're going to push their way in, take out the tower. And this is looking good for Feel the Heat. They begin to extend the lead. They hit level 10 first. And now they're going to be able to move up to this top lane. Gate's already gone here. And they're going to be able to take out this fountain, removing that healing potential for Washed Up in the second objective phase.
Dino with a strafe moves away here. Having that heroic ability available is of course a huge boon in a fight like this. But they really wanted him, and Dino simply strafes his way out of the fight. So he's able to get away. A few more hit points, a few of my experience points I just needed so that the red team also gets the level 10, and there it is. So we have by now the Riptire coming in, Sanctification obviously, and we've been talking a bit about potential for last rites, and there it is. Medivh or no Medivh, doesn't matter to him. Valkyrie comes out as they're trying to force a fight, but easy move out from Blade as the portal of Medivh gets supplied.
Nicely done, portal shut down. You could see the Washed Up really wanted that kill here. So they need to get themselves back into this game. Wave clear, not a problem for them though. They deal with the minions in that top lane. Now though, they have Valkyrie, they have Sank, they have the tools they need to pull themselves back into this.
Yeah, bot lane gets soaked. That was important because there was a big wave pushing in and Malthael now took over. So if they lose that, they would fall farther and behind, and they already are more than half a level behind Feel the Heat. 33 stacks for Ultralisk. I mean, again, his stacks are looking really good. Hazu died in a similar situation in the first game of this series, so he needs to be careful. This is the worst moment to die. But yeah, he's so far playing a very solid game here. As on the other hand, the connect against Masquerade, as Imperius once again does incredibly well. Dino even committing to his ult in the attempt to take him down, and oh my god, they are really jumping for it. Oh, ha, ha, ha. The move with the Valkyrie. Nick nearly getting the kill here, barely missing out on it. Dino is able to walk away with Vala, but that was more than clutch.
Blade from over the wall, trying to get some damage. Angelicum is not landing. Support camp being taken. Masquerade still has Sanctification if they really want to commit to this. Wit forced back, taking so much damage from Nick. And that guarantees the support camp going over to Washed Up. They get themselves their biotic emitter. And they're going to be able to make their way back down and begin to pick themselves up another turret. Blade is in position to slow them down a bit. He is going to move away though, realizing he's probably about to get quite outnumbered.
2 more stacks missing for Medivh. We have no stacks yet for Malthael. Couldn't get a kill for them. I mean, kills is again one of those slower matches that we have quite a bit. So it's like 4 kills in total, 3-1. Still that slight advantage around the level 13, but that's all that they have here. A bit of skirmish here in the middle of the map. Nothing too insane. We got the Gloom in play now. 1 last stack for Medivh. It's always these things where you feel like, okay, this is definitely it, but there's always this little point of doubt in the back of your head. What happens if I die now? I'm never gonna get there again. So you need to be careful with this. We got the gloves again for Cassia, the inevitable end, of course, and the ancient blessings, just as the top objective gets announced. Both teams with level 13 talents.
Root onto Masquerade, but he's fine. He was able to get out with that sort of justice, as we would have already called here. Like you said, that top objective is next. Right now, already pressure is being applied by Feel the Heat here as Die Now takes a bit of damage, but Portal already gaining value as Blade looks for a setup.
Yeah, looks for the sub as we speak, but here comes the quest completion. That's already good for Medivh. There's a good connect. Dino's actually a bit low. Now, he is... Again, there's a lot for Medivh to pay attention to. We're talking about the last rights. We're talking about the aggression towards Vala, so it's not really an easy game for Ultralisk by any means. Red team is holding on to the control over here for the time being and push Feel the Heat back a little bit. It's obviously the wrap around towards Junkrat, but Hazorps has no problems. This is jumping out. Nick is also getting attacked here, but the stun doesn't connect. Blade needs to be careful. Masquerade still playing around with it, and the Valkyrie is missing too. Both teams looking for an isolation kill.
Skeletal Mages come out, but they're cleaned up pretty quickly here. Solid defense, talents even, levels even. And we see Washed Up moving back onto the point. They still have Sank, and that's enough for them to gain control as Malthael gonna run away because there was a portal chase on him.
Yeah, another thing is also the quick rotations that we see from Zul now. He has that wave clear that allows you to easily take 2 lanes. And it's a bit tricky for Washed Up to deal with this. They are really having trouble. You can see at the bottom of the map that the fort is already attacking here, and Hazorps is late to the rotation. Now, he should get most of the experience, but we have Zul already topside as he's still busy at the bottom of the map, so they are trailing behind in that rotational play, and that allows for a dominant top position thanks to the superior numbers that they have, and they're using them, forcing out the sanctification on the side of Washed Up as well.
Grenades coming in, lots of harassment. Hasu keeping it under control. Like you said, they've weakened that bottom 4, but it did live, meaning that Washed Up still have the opportunity to at least contest this, but level 16's right around the corner for Feel the Heat.
So close on this right now, and they are already ahead as is. I mean, again, not on the points, obviously, there's a 93, but if you have the 16 and they already get the good position here too, also from an item perspective, then it's so tricky to just go for that foot protector and lock it in here. So yeah, 16 is in, gives them all that they need for now, and Washed Up is falling back, trying to soak the experience. They know they have still a bit of time left here. Hazo has taken the bottom, they're even going now for the item, and that should give them the XP for 16, and there it is. Gives them also an additional turret, so they're starting to go topside again. And they might just be able to win this fight in the Protector after all. They got the time to make the move onto the checkpoint.
Die Now, forced to back up. Too much pressure coming in here, but Root comes onto Tyrael, meaning no sanctification is available. We'll move forward. Objective already taken as the ley line shuts down Tyrael. He's rooted, he's silenced, he's gonna live due to Banana H with a great stay on and listen. That's going to allow everyone to get out of here as they pull back to this 4, but they have to be careful because the push is continuing. Finally, someone gets in the ranged mode of the Protector.
Yeah, so they're going to take the top forward. Obviously, the problem is that the Protector is also getting burned down incredibly quickly. You win the objective, congratulations, but they only get the top forward. Now, to be fair, at the bottom of the map, the fountain has already fallen thanks to the immense pressure that Zul built up on the map. But they're not as far ahead as you would think after taking 2 objectives here.
Protector. Nearly finished, 1% health. Still with 30 seconds left on it, so they siege the fountain. There it pops. Valkyrie just short. Leyline is burned anyway, though, to guarantee a safe escape. X-Ray pulled in. They're gonna look for it, but they can't finish it. But it's Masquerade who's picked off instead. And Feel the Heat continue their control over this game.
Yeah, they do. That's 4 kills against 1. There's a bit of aggression against Ultralisk, but he gets a ley line out, and with a root on the ground, that's a lock against Nick. Even the Bone Prison comes in, but somehow Cassia survives. The problem is that Zul doesn't, and that's a stack for Malthael, despite the fact that he dies in the attempt. But of course, now the mid lane is opened up too, and that allows them to get some damage in onto the fort itself. it's still fairly close, especially in experience, but there's no doubt which team is currently pushing the game and pushing the agenda, dictating the pace.
This makes it a 2-for-1 in terms of kills. Zul's still out for a bit, but this fort is getting taken out. Feel the heat. Keeping the pressure on Blade. Goes a bit far forward. Here comes the root, but... well, Medivh. And Portal out.
Yeah, Medivh indeed. I expected him to be banned out in game number 2 already, and now we see him for the 3rd time in a row being played here.
Both these teams feeling they can play around him so far. Let's see if it works. Let's see if they can, because it's been washed up playing it every game so far, but Ultra is proving that he is more than capable. So they are able to disengage, stay alive. Portal. They move forward, they find Nick, there's the charge, dodges the Celestial charge here, Valkyrie catches Wit, but Nick is dropping low, the strafe is good, Sank keeps him alive for the moment, Leyline comes out, and can they finish the job? Root onto Blade, who has a bad time, and Blade is taken out, good counter.
At this point, you're just feeling trolled, right? That's a feels Batman moment. You're literally chasing her nearly across half the map. And then all of a sudden she's able to get down, the sanctification comes in, and instead you're losing Imperius. What a disastrous chase if you think about it. So that's now an opportunity for Washed Up to come back into it by simply starting to take item control, and they are already on it, going for the support camp topside.
With that, Masquerade picks that up, and Washed Up are in a position where they can maybe try and turn this around. They're actually not that far behind. Oh my god, Masquerade. He's looking for the camp steal. Here comes Nick to try and turn this. Portal is dropped to bring in the reinforcement, but Masquerade got it. He's gonna peace out as he steals away that camp.
Yeah, they steal the camp. They are on even experience. They have an inferior position at the bottom of the map for the 3rd objective. That's definitely still true. But yeah, it's a weird twist. Now, the cooler reduction for Medivh, for Malthael, I'm going through all the M's here. It matters, of course, quite a bit too. It's 2 stacks right now, so that's 10 seconds. But if you can get a few more stacks together, that would actually be really nice for the rest of the game here.
So we do see the camp counter steal coming in from Feel the Heat. Objective already being channeled by Malthael. Like I said, he would like those stacks, but right now he's having fun, interactive gameplay. As he is forced to back up, though. Level 20 is available for Feel the Heat. And Washed Up, they still need to soak in a little bit more, but they're doing that. They're soaking every lane. Wow, Leyline, no value this time, but they force out the Sank.
So he could have had the fun interactive gameplay if he just went onto one of the conveyor belts, but decided against it. So I don't understand the sarcasm.
Tyrael realizing that he doesn't have Sank anymore. No point to take Holy Arena. Yep,
I like
Defense
it.
Of the Angels.
This is not worth my time.
Defense of the Angels coming in here, and Rock Stopper for Cassia tank her through these fights as they make their way on and reclaim the point. In the meantime, turrets being picked up by Feel the Heat, continuing to gain control, but finally, both teams are on even talents. This is about as good of a fight as Washed Up are going to get. They're still going to back up, though. They don't want to take it without Sanctification, which means they have to somehow delay this for another 50 seconds, and it looks like their decision on that is nah, and they're just going to back up and wait it out.
I mean, again, they also don't have the fountain, so that pre-tap matters a lot, and the fort is down, they get it for free. Sanctification is not going to be available for another 37 seconds, so if you really want to wait for that, then good luck with it. You will have to face that 3rd protector, and they're starting to push their way in slowly. They still got items. I mean, they got the healing beacon, that's worth a lot, but yeah, they don't want to play without the Sank. It's a huge problem for them, because it could cost them the bottom keep.
They're going to have to defend without this. Protector is picked up. Malfurion is in it. He would be one of the great engaged targets for Cassia here, as we see the defense set up for Washed Up. As close to the wall as possible. Masquerade will grab one more globe, but that's not good. Sank 2 seconds away. He's speared by Blade. He makes it behind the wall. And this is the defense on for Washed Up.
It would have been kind of funny if this entire endeavor would just be to him using the Sanctification again just to get away. Gets it back up, you know, and has to use it immediately. But they are on the defense, and they're chunky. Oh my god, Whoa. Nick explodes just as I was about to to commend them for taking that protector down so heavily. But now they lose one of their biggest damage dealers, and their keep is in trouble. He might still be able to hold it, though.
Protector, they swap targets, it's gonna dive, gonna try and go for it, but that is stay one and listen, interrupted, put in the 10-second cooldown, they move forward, and Tyrael is caught in the root, taken out, and feel the heat. Are they gonna try and go for this? Hasselhoff's, he's picked off, the keep's gonna go down, and suddenly we're in a situation where that core's looking vulnerable, Zul's dead, so that's the turnaround.
Yeah, that's actually the save here. They're denying, well, or maybe not, because Malthel is down, but he returns instantly. They still are able to get a bit more damage in. Now, with Ultralis denying the last right skill, that was important, but can they really finish the game here? It's going to be 10 more seconds until Cassia's back to business. They are trying, though. They're trying to go for it. They're dodging out on those fists as much as they can. The shield is down. They will definitely damage the core, but can they finish what they started? That's the bigger question. And the answer seems to be no.
They bring it down to 88. Ultralisk, he sidesteps it. Medivh cheats. If they can stagger a death here, this could be it. Rockstopper used immediately by Cassie, but it's not enough. They pick up the kill as Dynao continues to whittle away at the core. Tyrael has returned. They have Malthael, they have damage, but this core is being taken slowly but surely. Here comes Masquerade, but he's using that Sword of Justice very well. Dynao goes deep, they stun out, but not at range, and the Hungry Arrow finishes him off.
Honestly, that damage out of Imperius at times is just absolutely insane. It's not only Vala, but Imperius is doing so much here. 40% on the core, it's going to be 30. Seems like Feel the Heat is going to be able to pick up the lead in this best of 5 series. The catapults are doing mad damage, and there is no victory for Feel the Heat in game number 3 on Volskaya Foundry. And we are on Sky Temple for the draft. So Feel the Heat have actually taken the lead, which is still very impressive to me. Not what I expected. We had very, very clean games from Washed Up throughout the entire tournament so far, whereas for Feel the Heat, it was always a little bit more scrappy. But again, at the end of the day, if you win, that's all that really matters here. So Sky Temple is the map choice of Feel the Heat, as Washed Up opted into first pick and first ban. And this is going to be spicy. Can Feel the Heat really win this with a 3-1 and crown themselves the champion? That's the big question.
There it is.
They're finally Medivh gets banned. After 3 games in a row, he finally gets banned out.
ETC also going to get removed here. Very safe ban so far from Feel the Heat. But now Washed Up. So they banned the Yorel. This has also been prioritized incredibly heavily. We do know Dequaza can play that quite effectively, so we'll probably see that maybe that ban attempted to be forced onto Feel the Heat, but we also still have Cassia still available. We have the Globals. This is a good Abatha map. There's so many good options here.
Yeah, Falstad, Tyrael. Yeah, there's the ban. This is exactly what I mentioned as we were talking about the map choice a little bit previously. This is a good map for Zul again, if you want to play that style. This is actually a map where, for example, back in the days, Alex the Prodigy played it for the first time and started his roaming Zul stuff. This in Tomb of the Spider Queen. It allows for Cassia to be taken again, but they were able to beat her on the last map. But that Zul ban doesn't really shock me given the map choice. But of course, there's other picks that are very strong here too. With that boss oftentimes being a little bit of a last-ditch effort to force a fight and really turn things around. Tyrael with Sanctification becomes important. Falstad becomes a good choice, not only because of his global, but also because of the zone control that he provides in that position. And we start with Karazim Johanna. All right.
Okay. Karazim has served them well throughout this tournament, and well, he is a good backline assassin as a support, weirdly enough, who kills off your backline. And Cassia, if they can hold her still long enough, that Karazim damage output might give them what they need. But we still have Rhaegar, we have Ana, we have so many good burst supports available still, Deckard Cain still available. We're going to see Rhaegar, and we're going to see Tyrael. And suddenly, that burst strat to kill Cassia is looking way less likely.
Is one biting out the slug? That's also a question, because we have now 2 teams that would do really well with Abatha. Now, it can be a liability, but Karazim Abatha plus X, Greymane, for example, is always a problem. You have Rhaegar and Tyrael already on the side of the blue team. So, sorry, the red team. So if they lock that in, that's another issue. There's the Viking ban. I don't like that. That's usually something that the Germans ban out because they don't like fun. But as it turns out, the blue team doesn't like it either. So we've seen it once from Whoopi. But yeah, no Vikings. Makes me sad.
Makes me sad too, but it is still a sensible ban by Feel the Heat. We know Hasu can play it. Bloodlust Viking sounds very funny.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning. We're not here for sensible anymore.
Well, there goes the Abatha. Abatha taken out. No fun for you.
If even the German tells you that he wants fun, then he's either sleep deprived or yeah. Let's not dive too deep into that. So Abatha gets banned as well, so both of them hate fun. It's a little bit unfortunate.
Well, let's see what Feel the Heat have now. They have Karazim, they have Johanna. How are they going to work around this? This could still be a Zeratul game to deal with that Tyrael, and it is Zeratul and Falstad. So they give themselves that global potential, and Zeratul is the go-to counter for Tyrael due to being able to avoid Prison Sanctification. That keeps them in this.
All right. So Void Prison. I mean, yeah, Void Prison. Gust for isolation. Yeah, most like not quite that particular play, but yeah, most of the Sanctification Void Prison interaction that we're looking for. But still, there is the Kerrigan Blaze Tyrael combo. All right, wow. I'm terrified already. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
That's a front line. That is a front line and a half, and it's a lot of burst here. Blaze is the main engager, Kerrigan as follow-up and burst potential. It's a solid lineup. How do you deal with this? They have some disengage already in the form of Falstad. What's their final pickup here? They need more damage. Zeratul and Falstad is good, but they need someone to actually finish people. That'll do. That's extra tankiness.
Yeah.
There's very little percentage damage until late levels on the side of Washed Up. And it's extra damage, extra tankiness, unstoppable, so it's not going to be targeted too much. That's a pretty solid pickup by Feel the Heat.
Yeah, and that leads us into Sky Temple. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 4 could be the last one in the series. So let's see if Feel the Heat can clutch out the victory in the grand final. Well, off we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 4, we have Sky Temple, Feel the Heat in the lead against Washed Up as we are heading into the map, which could turn out to be the final map in this particular series. Can Feel the Heat really do it? Time will tell. Powerful setup for the red team, for Washed Up. But Feel the Heat has shown fantastic play so far.
So we start off already. Watchtower going to be taken by Washed Up. They feel confident in their level 1, and they should. They have Kerrigan. As such, Feel the Heat, they avoid that center Watchtower, going to play around it, and just head off to lanes. Karazim Zeratul in the bot lane, ready to burst anyone who overextends. Deathwing top lane, and Falstad, he's going to chill very far back in this mid lane. Ultra is going to play this safe. He is a bribe stat, by the way, so they're going to try and add that little bit of macro to the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, with bribe, you can dominate, for example, the top lane whenever we are talking about... That was close on Ultralisk. Nick nearly getting that stun in. I mean, Ultra is literally just skirting around the edges of the circle. Oh boy. No, that guy, either he's sleepy or he has nerves of steel. It's one of the two, because... Whew, that was clutch.
Mercenaries being taken by both teams. No kills despite best efforts. Mercenaries for map pressure instead, although Masquerade's gonna go and say hi. He's got Kerrigan and Cassia right behind him. Stun doesn't land. Camp will be stolen, though, as Ultralisk rolls to freedom.
Yeah, and can they get a little bit more? Nah, there's always the Iron Skin ready. I want to see cooldown management on Johanna with Iron Skin is one of the most important things on her, and if you do that well, then you will be able to walk out of most situations that she finds herself in. So that goes well for her. That last attack at Split didn't go well for Dino. He has actually taken quite a bit of damage there. The fight, on the other hand, continues as they're trying to deep push these Siege Giants, and of course we're now coming in to take the fort down a few hit points. But yeah, good start for Washed Up. They are on level 4. And they have the extra talent in. Not really a big lead or anything, but still, they are the ones currently pushing the agenda a bit here.
Camp going to be taken on the side of Feel the Heat. Washed Up, they do start theirs, but they're a little later here. Daquazas beginning that. Like we said, Karazim plus Zeratul, incredibly fast clear speed. They will get theirs significantly faster than Washed Up, meaning that top lane will be pressured. In the meantime, Deathwing clearing the lane as fast as he can, trying to crash some of these minions against the wall before Dayquaza gets back, but not going to be able to manage so because Dayquaza is relieved of duty by Nick and, of course, the support here of Banana Rage.
Yeah, so they're actually timing this. I mean, one of the funniest things that I've sometimes seen is that if someone moves in, and simply steals the camp away. So these days you always have a bit of a bodyguard sitting tight to make sure that that doesn't happen. But yeah, they take it, no problem for them. So now they have a better position at the top lane as they're going for this. And the globals could make the difference really in the long run, of course. But for the first objectives, at least, it's the mid and the top temple that we're talking about. And there you will not see that. But Falside is where he needs to be. So Ultralisk at the bottom of the map now, so that allows him to push a wave out and then fly in. Unless, of course, he's dead. That proves with that, but Ultralisk survives with 70 HP. It shows, on the other hand, again, the power of Nick.
Still no first blood, despite everyone trying their hardest as shots are traded out. That top 4 ain't looking so hot as it's gonna be focused down. The shots come in, it's weakened almost to the point of death. It will survive the final 5 shots though, only barely. In the meantime, reclaimed, Washed Up are able to claim the final 5 shots in mid lane as well, so they're able to come out quite a bit ahead here.
Again, they have a terrifying setup here. The one thing that they're lacking a little bit is the control that Deckard Kane gave them in one of the previous games together with this. I mean, it was a slightly different setup since they had more control with the CC that came from Johanna, but now it's the utility and survivability of the double front line that they're using here. Masquerade, though, is fairly low, and unless Karrigan is now able to ruin this, he might still die here, and indeed he does, because Deathwing comes in and goes for the kill steal. I mean, that was the last hit. Didn't do anything, comes in with the last hit. That's a BM move.
And that's what Feel the Heat are going to be looking for. They need to get these pickups here. They have Zeratul and Karazim. That's exactly what they're going to be trying to do here. And they need to be able to get more of those. So that is first blood in the game as they're going to start on their mercenary camp. And this time, no Tyrael means no steal.
Exactly, first blood in the game. So that one also super important to note. And of course, now force that top side because the next objective is at the bottom of the map. And normally that spawns around level 10. And you can soak the extra experience if you have the global towards the top and then make the move for the temple at the bottom. And it's oftentimes the temple that decides a bit which team takes the lead here on structures. And that's important for the upcoming trades in double temple spawns afterwards. Down here on the other hand, the wall has already been taken down a little bit for the blue team. So if you, for example, eliminate the fountain, that gives you a better position for the temple fight. But the earlier level 10 should go to Feel the Heat as they try and go for Nick here. They nearly get the kill, and well, they might still, and they do as Karrigan puts the final touches onto the kill on Karrigan.
With that, they get level 10 a little bit faster here. We have Falling Sword and no Void Prison. That is so brave against a Tyrael composition. Might of the Nerazim comes out for Zeratul. They're going for a pick style. Bribestad comes out, stealing that camp away. Pressure being applied. Falling Sword to look for Hasuov. 7-sided. Ancestral forced out by Banana Rage as his level 10. There's the sack, and they will get out of it. Oh, Banana Rage running out of the sack. Nearly dies.
Yeah, he nearly goes down here. I mean, with the Zeratul setup, honestly, how often do we see Void Prison these days? I think the one tournament game that we had here with VP was the first Void Prison that I saw on the high level in months. It's always Might of the Nerazim. In that particular game, they felt that it would give them enough. But it was also a game that Zeratul lost. And if you go for those pick plays against backliners like Cassia, you can do so many great plays with this. And Dino, of course, is one of the best Zeratul players that we have in Europe right now. So this is going to be a spicy one, since we can focus on him a little bit and see what he can actually pull off in this setup.
Iron used Blade, who is hiding into the backline, trying to bait people in, drops the Cataclysm. They look for Hasu, but they're zoned away as Blade drops one of those armor plates. We do see them moving by X-Ray, trying to hold it, but with Cassia gone, they're just going to have to use Die now to get over the wall and get out of there, because that was a hard engage by Washed Up.
Yeah, and well, Kerrigan also with the quest completed, but that is a 4 down. And that's 2 forts down. The position on structures is the most important one on Sky Temple because your objective directly attacks structures. And that is a huge problem because now you can't trade anymore if you are Field Elite. You have to force fights. And if there are, for example, 2 temples spawning, it's easy for Washed Up to simply take 1 temple and give one over to the opponent. But those trades are not possible anymore for Field Heat. So eventually they might end up going for the boss and trying to force a fight around this. It's always a bit of a weird setup when you fall behind on Sky Temple, and it makes this incredibly dangerous.
Die now holds the line for the moment. He looks for the wave clear. Did get harassed and demounted by Dequaza, but the spell armor from the mercenary camp keeps him upright. Now Washed Up, grabbing their own mercenary camp. They've got plenty of time before the next objective, just keeping pressure on the map. They're actually looking pretty solid right now, taking down 2 forts in this game. They're still somehow behind in experience, but there's still a couple minion waves for them to pick up to even that out just a little bit. But level 13 will be a little bit earlier for Feel the Heat.
Yeah, 13 is in. 2 kills to 1. Again, once more a game with not a whole lot of kills here. Because everybody knows that if you just... Again, 1 kill can so easily result in multiple heroes taken down as a follow-up. And nobody wants to risk it. It's really clutch. We got the Ancestral in again. That's already a bit more of a safer play. There's so many safety tools now for... Washed Up in particular. You got the Bunker, you got the Sanctification, you got the Rega Ancestral, the Shield on 13, of course, now coming out to support that even more. But still that jumpy setup for Johanna with the Blessed Shield, and of course that 7-sided strike. It's time for Temples again, and this is exactly that double Temple setup that we highlighted a bit earlier. So let's see how Feel the Heat plays it, because they are the ones that are under pressure. They're the ones that eventually will have to make a bit of a bold move and try and force a fight.
Karazim trying to bully and also harass. In the meantime, Zeratul pushed out top lane a bit, but has already made his way down. Hasselhoff spots it and just half-health Dino on his own.
Yeah, Dino is really, really low, and X-Ray is trying to top him off, of course, again with HP. But here comes the fight. Deathwing moving in. Dino moves out, is low. Ultralisk with the Mighty Gust, trying to force him into the re-engage. Sanctification is saving the day for now for Washed Up, as they're attempting to turn it on Blade. The Ultralisk is rushing in, but the Temple control goes to the blue team. So good for Feel the Heat. They take one of the forts down, but that doesn't change the fact that during all of this, Dequaza at the bottom of the map has still channeled the additional Temple. And now with all the forts lost, the wall at bottom keep has already been damaged, while Washed Up still holds 2 forts.
Method Mayhem used their Dino is out. He didn't know Nick and Bernardo Rachel were there because they were hiding behind the wall. They tried to burst him, but the double blink from Zeratul, too much to deal with. It's only a short cooldown, so it will be back in time for, well, 4 seconds, as you can see on your screen, so he'll have it available if he wants to go for any picks. Bot lane is cleaned up, but it did take a lot of damage, making it very vulnerable to boss pushes, thanks to that channel of Blaze, like you called earlier. Masquerade finds Witchillin, doesn't land his blind. Holy ground coming out here, but Iron Skin too good.
Skin still allows them to make that play. 16 is the next talent on the board for both teams. And again, a double Temple already showing on the minimap, top and bottom. So super far apart here. That could be that in the later stages of the game, the globals are really going to make the biggest difference. If you can use those to push in, that's fantastic, but you always need to control where exactly Kerrigan is, because if she gets the jump on Falstad, we have seen in the earlier stages how quickly that can result in the kill, or at least the potential one. Alright, there's the 16 cleave, so now the combo with the level 1 talent is complete. Gust is in, and that's 2 ults used. That's Gust, and that's also the Falling Sword, both utilized to save Johanna. So 2 big cooldown burners. They're trying to go for Blade.
Oh, man.
Oh my god, he gets murdered to 50% HP instantly.
Cataclysm 2, 3 ults used, and that's the upgraded Cataclysm. It doesn't exactly even have Bellowing Roar to make up for it, as he took the upgrade on level 10, which, to be fair, on this map is a pretty good choice, because you're always going to be killing forts at some point. So a nice little pickup here, but now it's on cooldown. 65 seconds left until that will be back up. Objectives up in 2, meaning that we are almost certainly going to see Washed Up taking control of bot lane, which means we may see a keep go down.
Yeah, again, feel the heat. At some point, they have to fall. It's gonna very likely result in a boss play. Oftentimes, when you're the team that is behind, you're the one that has to make the risky move and try to force a fight somehow. And one of the last Hail Mary attempts to make that happen is to push for boss and force your opponent to respond to it. They have tools that can work around this, especially, of course, with Falstad and the Mighty Gust. But then again, on the other side, you have that bunker, and in addition to that, also the Sanctification to really hold the spot.
Dino goes a little deep here. Here's Kerrigan. They force out the Might of the Nerazim. Here comes Blade from the side. Cataclysm has already come back off cooldown. They have Falling Sword available, but they've been forced back with no Might of the Nerazim. They don't want to take the risk. Falstad is also forced off top lane, meaning that Dayquaza was able to get a couple shots, but doesn't want to deal with the extra range advantage and the fact that everyone is now missing from Feel the Heat. Ultralisk is going real deep for this. Now they're going to try and go for the kill, but Bunker shuts him down.
I love how the Singularity Spike just went over there.
Subdue just got completed. Nice.
Yeah, keep is nearly done, by the way. Not quite. At any point, they could actually pick this up if they can just push the bot lane a little bit more. But yeah, I guess the Subdue done. That's also pretty epic, but still, they are ahead in experience. It's the structures on the map that are the biggest issue. And now we have the red team even picking up a few more shots up towards the top side. And here's the move towards the boss that I've already highlighted earlier. It was bound to happen. Of course, Washed Up knows it as well and is therefore checking frequently for it.
This is why we see Wit currently playing very aggressively, trying to hold the line, but the boss leash is forced. Bottom keep did live for Feel the Heat, so they do have some freedom here on this. So they're able to hold for now, but that boss leash has been forced. They're losing their opportunity for Hail Mary. They're actually going to hit level 20, maybe first. And with the fact that no forts are available and how quickly these guys can kill keeps, this might just end up turning into one team fight on boss and then the game ends.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the biggest problems now. So if you get to level 20 because you have the globals available, that might just be what gives you a slight edge in that fight. But if your opponent is able to close that gap, then you're again in trouble. And now with half a level lead, it seems a bit more likely that we're going to see something along those lines. And Falstad is continuing to push out the top lane for exactly that reason. If they have 20, they can try and force it. And they will have to. But also someone wants that keep, apparently.
Yep, it's gonna die. There's nothing they can really do about that. You can see Nick is in position. They know Now is here. He's gonna take the risk of doing the damage. They have the cleanse. Falstad is flying in. They Cataclysm. Nick, he set up an ambush, though. He's probably gonna be able to take it down. No, Gust. The save from Ultras keeps them in this. As level 20 is hit. They engage pre-level 20. There's the Iron Skin. Johanna stays alive. She dropped the Heaven's Fury, which means her ult is now only 14 seconds away. Level 20 still half a level away for Washed Up, but something has to be done by Feel the Heat in this time.
Yeah, and it seems like they're not going to do anything. They're waiting for the temple. Now they're only one keep down. I mean, only. It's still one keep and a few additional structures. Boss is up, single temple is up. No 20 yet, but still the fight. They're all double checking what's happening in those bushes, making sure that nobody gets ganked. It's 3 kills. We're 15, 16 minutes into this game. It's 3 kills only. There's level 20 now for both sides. Washed Up, they want game 5 yet. They want it. But Feel the Heat. They are playing such a slow game right now, waiting for one chance to get the kill and spiral it out of control.
That's all they need. Cataclysm's back up soon. Nice Iron Skin. Johanna holding here. And they're looking for an opportunity again. Like you said, Deathwing. He's just waiting in bot lane. He's gone up to the sky now. So he will be available. Meteor's coming in, healing him back up to full. Here it comes. Heaven's Fury. Nick's the target. Chrysalis is dropped. Can they finish it? Grey Gust comes out, forcing the bunker and the Sank. But they now need to make something done. They've used all their heroics, but we still have Valkyrie. We still have Ancestral. We still have Ultralisk available for Washed Up. They're looking for their opportunity. Blade creeps forward. Shots coming out. Temple being controlled. Blade has a good choke point here. Good damage with that conflagration as Masquerade moves forward. Holy Grand trying to split him up. Valkyrie is dodged, but not by X-Ray. X-Ray's in trouble. He dashes away. X-Ray is out as Blade moves into the backline post out the Ancestral. Hitting it is Tyrael who dies first. Has to up. He gets the Rock Stopper, keeping him alive, but Blade is gonna fall. It's a 1-for-1.
Tyrael and Blade both down, 1-for-1 trade here as the two of them fall, but the shots are still taken by the red team. And now, of course, the question how exactly Field Leader is going to play is but Zeratul! Oh my god! How did he get out of this one? Holy hell. If Dino falls here, then it would likely be a move for Boss, but he survives. And has to jump away again as Harzovs is jetting the bush and nearly gets the kill. And Dino's just sitting there like, leave me alone, I just want to live. Let me get back to the Nexus. With the one this time, sitting in the bush and double checking to see if the boss is getting attacked. But he has to be careful here as well. It's down to the wire. They go for the kill 7 side and the accidental connect here with Karasim.
They're gonna get away. In fact, here comes the wind tunnel. They're looking for banana range, but they don't have it. They don't have the damage. Cleanse comes out. Wit was too low. Dyna was too low. A clutch play coming in from Ultralisk, but it's not enough. They looked for another. They couldn't get it. 3 catapults, 4 catapults, and the Siege Giants in the bot lane. That has to be dealt with.
Siege Giants pushing through the bottom of the map. Falstad is going to deal with this. This is a good thing for them. They have the globals. So this is actually pretty good for them because global play will allow them to defend the bot lane continuously. And at the same time, they can still also push out the top a little bit. So Karasim is, of course, quite mobile now. Can easily jump through with everything that he has here, especially, of course, with the level 4. But yeah, 18 minutes into this right now, and there's a double temple coming up, and with one keep already eliminated and some of the towers gone.
Excuse me? Holy ground, Masquerade picks that up, and it's a full retreat because that is suddenly a huge danger for Field of Heat.
Yeah. Again, Nick is looking for that lockdown. They need to force a fight at some point. I mean, seriously, at some point they just need to commit to it, no matter how it looks, because bot lane gets pushed against them, double temple is up, and they can't afford to lose additional keeps, and the one in the middle has already lost the fountain and the towers. They need to really make a stand at some point, no matter what, and it's tricky enough as it is, but they're starting to jump in. Wit is looking for the condemn against Masquerade. And Kerrigan bouncing from one target to another, trying to get the lockdown here. Not really getting it, though, getting the shield out. Kerrigan herself in a bit of trouble, has to come into the Chrysalis as they're trying to go for it. But in comes the bunker. They're going for the stun against X-Ray. Sanctification, and Blade goes down.
Blade deleted. The Sanctification turns it. They move forward. Heaven's Fury. One more try from Field. The Heat stun from Nick doesn't land. Double Ancestral from Rhaegar, though. With that level 20, down goes Zeratul. And we see Field the Heat in full retreat. They are in a rough spot because there are Giants in the bot lane. Wit, he gets the Iron Skin. He makes it out. But now they have to defend 5v3.
Yeah, they have to defend the top keep too. So top keep gets pressured. Now, granted, their temple took down the keep in the mid lane for washed up. But let's be honest here. This is looking like it's going to be game. We're going to go to a game 5 if washed up can push this through. Tornadoes everywhere pushing the ground. There's the mighty Gus. That's insane. The shield is gone. 70%. But it shouldn't matter anymore. With 40% left, 30 on the core, this is a tie. Once more, we will have a 5th game in this grand final at Method Mayhem. Game 5, we're really here. Grand final, and the first ban is Abathur. Cursed Hollow is the map choice of washed up. What else could it be if you're looking at Cursed Hollow? Abathur gets banned. Do we see the Vikings ban as well? That's, of course, one of the big questions here. We're already looking at Urel getting eliminated as we're really going down to the final map. The full distance. It's going to be 2 a.m. here in just a couple of minutes. And we have the Vikings banned out. No fun allowed in a game, in a grand final is dominated by way too many Germans.
This does mean, though, that ETC has been let through. Zul's going to be let through. One of these heroes is going to be let through. Maybe even Medivh, if washed up want to be cheeky here. Nope. They ban out the Medivh. But that means ETC, Cassia, Zul, all these heroes have been left available.
And of course, also Tyrael again. big for the boss control, for the control on the tribute. In addition to that, false stat, globals in general. I mean, Khaldor is always a great map for this, but of course, we finally see the cow making its way into the game. Has been banned out so many times. And in this case, it even gets more value because depending on the lineup, you could even decide to go into the stage dive, which back in the days of HGC was one of the reasons why ETC was oftentimes first pick, because it gave you the flexibility to decide if you want to play the hero in the offlane position with stage dive or in the main tank position with a mosh pit. This has, of course, changed a little bit. These days, it's more about the mosh than anything else. But ETC still is an incredibly fantastic tank to create space for the team and also get a good stun provided, as Washed Up locks in that Cassia for third time in a row now for Nick. Pretty sure, yeah. We saw that on Sky Foundry, Sky Temple, and now on Cursed Hollow, plus, of course, Johanna locking in, Masquerade locking in Johanna. There we go. It's late. It's late.
It's pretty good as it turns out, but look who snuck his way in. Ultralisk gonna pull out the Maiev. That is potential Warden's Cage Mosh Pit combo potential. Now, Johanna Ironskin can, of course, pop that Warden's Cage effectively, but that is a lot of pressure on her, because now she has to use the Ironskin for self-protection, to try and bait out abilities, and to clear out that Warden's Cage.
Yeah, bans coming in, of course. That's the big question of what are they going to get rid of? Which hero are they going to be most worried about? And it is Tracer. With Dino on the board, they don't really want to go up against Tracer here. Sergeant Hammer gets eliminated. There's, of course, Hazu. Yeah, with a Johanna. If Hazu gets hammered, then it's more or less lights out. You know that already. So I can't really blame them for that ban. Not in the slightest.
Couldn't agree more. It's ridiculously strong, especially when in the hands of Hasu. So it's a sensible removal here. With Johanna would have been a great frontline for it. So instead, it's finally time for Kira. It's been held back this entire series, but it's finally unleashed. Nick has some freedom, which means we're probably going to see Hasu on the Cassia. Yeah. Which I guess he was on last game as well, so because it wasn't Nick on Cassia last game, because he was on the Karrigan.
And it's actually was banned even once, so it was not picked until now, but they banned Kira out once. And here comes Diablo for Blade, and we have Sylvana. So it is actually going to be very likely going to be an ETC in the offlane. They're most likely going to switch over during the swap round.
Ooh.
But Dino with Sylvanas, okay, so they can go for the easy pushes, maybe with the boss once that got controlled there too. No Greymane just yet.
Final pickup. It could be a Greymane. Could be solid, give them a lot of damage output. It's going to be Deathwing. They get their own this time. Washed Up, flipping the script.
You need the chicken there. You want to have another one that can hold the front line there too, together with Johanna. Kira is not really made for that particular spot. So yeah, with that, ladies and gentlemen, Cursed Hollow, map number 5. We're going the full distance in the grand final here at Method Mayhem. So let's jump right into it. Game on, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get it started. On the left, feel the heat. On the right, Washed Up. It's all down to this, Khaldor. Who will be the first Method Mayhem champion?
Well, we're going to find out right now on the left side, as previously seen. Once again, feel the heat. Towards the right, it's Washed Up. They're playing with the chicken this time as they Quasar plays the hero out. And we have, of course, Kira for Nick. Maximum effort as the level 1 talent for him. Ooh, and a little bit of a change here also on the side of Diablo, who goes for the Feast on Fear at this point. There are, of course, a lot of cases where he is going to get mad value out of the talent, considering there's a lot of choke points and corridors on the map where he can get these stuns pretty easily. So nice one for him. Also, when it comes to the heroes, as expected, we saw the swap. So ETC is actually the one that is played by Blade now. So we're going to see a side lane ETC. And Ultralisk already with the rest of the team aggressively rotating on the map in order to get kills. But Banana Age surviving with pretty much no hit points whatsoever. Nicely done. Was a good rotation. Really aggressive one from Feel the Heat. But Rhaegar was able to make it out after all, and the rest of the red team rotated down too in order to help out. Top side, that's where our 1 versus 1 heroes are currently going up against each other. Played. I mean, he can power slide all he wants. He's not gonna stun out Deathwing, so there's at least that. But yeah.
Nothing Deathwing can do. Nothing that ETC can do to Deathwing. He's just gonna tank his way through, as already a very early Bruiser Cam, starting that before the Siege Giants this time for Feel the Heat, for that extra pressure. Nice to see there. Gonna try and pile on the pressure on mid lane. Also, Sylvanas heads for the Siege Giants.
Yeah, Sylvanas taking the Siege Giants because the objective starts bot lane first. So, again, normally you would stall this out now too. Now, of course, they took the night camp first, and that's normally what you want to do when you have the objective spawning on the opposite side of your Siege Giant lane. And Sylvanas can now time this with the objective if she wants to, but she takes it right away. I mean, to be fair, there's also Deathwing on the other side, so it's not really giving me as much value anyways. But yeah, the traditional rotation always happens that if your objective spawns opposite to your Siege Giant lane, you take the Siege Giants last, compared to the Bruiser Camp.
Mercenaries being cleaned out pretty effectively. Attempt for the tether onto Hasu, but he was just able to avoid that there. Angle didn't quite add up for Ultralisk here as he's forced to back away. And they're going to get a little bit of damage on, but not too much. But this is going to Feel the Heat. The slight rotation time advantage, meaning they will make it down here a bit quicker, so they get the better positioning onto this objective.
Dino is riding the sleepy cloud at 2 o'clock in the morning as we are in the final map of this. So yeah, he's not the only one. Masquerade with the channel attempt here. Deathwing, of course, is trying to take the Siege Giants down top side before he starts to join the fun. But so far, we haven't even seen a single kill yet in this game. And here comes Masquerade as they're going for the interrupt. X-Ray was trying to lock the channel in, couldn't quite. There's the tether as they're pulling Nick back into business. Nick, of course, with a swing to win here, trying to get some damage in with Kira, but it seems like they're going to let this one slide as they're getting pushed back aggressively, and X-Ray is able to finish the channel on tribute number 1 for the blue team.
Alpha's come out very heavily in favor of Feel the Heat, and that, which is why they're able to take control, get that channel. Nick looks for some damage onto Wid, but instead just eats a full charge to the face. Housewob's going to come in and give the assist, though, and force the retreat out. ETC is making his way up to top lane to counteract some of the soak that is being applied here by Deathwing, as level 7 is hit for both teams.
Still no kill. It's always when there's this much on the line. You can't really... It's like really... You have to be cautious. You have to be careful. You have to be disciplined. And that's really what distinguishes great teams from top teams here. So now we have the chicken again, top side, doing his thing. But... it's not going to take too much longer for the bosses to also appear on the map. I mean, it's another 35 seconds, and then we're going to have a boss top and bottom. And with the lineups here, it's going to be all about who is able to take them. Are we just going to get those even trades? Is someone able to make a double boss play? Blade is already looking at a channel towards tribute number 2. If they can get that lead, then they will be able to force a fight over tribute number 3, which normally drops around level 10. So there's a lot that's already playing into this, as Wid is going for another wall stun, this time against Johanna.
X-Ray getting pressured on the backline, though, as Dayquaza went real deep with that Cataclysm as they look for Ultralisk here. We see Wit taken out here as in the meantime, Banana was trying to channel, but surprise Blade from behind catches them in the choke point here. Ultralisk looking for the kill. Hasuobs, he's trying to get away. The slow was good. Hasu's on the run. The meantime, Masquerade snuck the objective, and Blade has even enough more he can shoot. No, he will be able to escape, but no kill on Hasuobs.
For just a second, it looked a little bit like he might actually die here. He found himself within 4 opponents' heroes, and of course by now he got the power slide cooldown back and could finally move out, but still, it's 2 kills against 1, so yeah, I got a little bit spicy after we waited for the first blood for quite some time, but now the top pressure eliminates 1 wall plus towers, and they are also trying to take the fountain down. But yeah, level 10 abilities is the next thing popping up here. And we have a tribute on each side, so it's not going to be a forced tribute. It's not going to be a guaranteed curse as the next one pops in.
Mercenaries being focused down, washed up, trying to get some extra pressure on before the next objective. No such rotation from Feel the Heat. So they're going to be, both teams on level 10, but they don't really have any pressure on the map other than the Siege Giant, which Deathwing is dealing with very quickly. That's a containment disc.
Yep, it is. Disc play here. And the stage dive. I mean, the stage dive was to be expected after we've seen ETC move into the side lane. I explained it already during the draft, why he oftentimes is taken, or was even back in the days taken in that early slot because you are more flexible with the pick. But the disc is definitely an interesting twist to this now. So that's going to be pretty cool to see.
Level 10s for Washed Up as well, who will take that tribute, making it 2-1. Unrelenting strikes coming in for that Kira. Going for that stun follow-up to Deathwing, to Johanna. As we do see the boss started for both teams. Now, Blade is showing on top lane. Looks like he wasn't really thinking of contesting, but he was thinking of being annoying. Yeah, it got caught in the stun there by the boss.
It's always a little bit mad, man. I mean, again, there's nothing really that happened around it. Ultra is just dodging out on the stun at the bot lane himself. He took a lot of damage from the boss too. But both teams, of course, get that boss now. The tribute lead is in the hands of Washed Up as the third one is about to spawn. But they are trying to escort it through the top fort already. And Blade doesn't really have the insane wave clear that he would need to burn this down quickly. So if this is ending up with a curse in favor of Washed Up, that will, of course, would be that big lead into this game and allow them to get even more damage out of the top boss, who's definitely going to take down that fort.
They move forward. Here comes the Cataclysm, and again, X-Ray is in serious trouble. Wailing Arrow comes out to try and buy time, but with that support already taken out, now is focused. Blade buys time, but there's nowhere to go. Unrelenting strikes will take out Blade. Wit is alone as Daquaza chases him down.
And that's the kill. That's 4 down. He had the soul, so he's going to be back. But that is not only 4 kills in total. They're simply going for keep. They curse the opponent. They're flying over the wall, taken with the Cataclysm. And they're going straight in for keep number 1 in this final, in this 5th game of the Grand Final. Unbelievable. The momentum has hit hard. And I don't think that Field Heat likes it.
They have Cataclysm upgrade, so if they get this keep, Deathwing could come back in. But we do see a lot of crowd control coming out. Ancestral healing for the second time coming in. Going to be dropped onto Cassia. The boss doing good damage to this fort, but this is a good defense currently coming in from Down, massively dropping as much damage as he can. In the meantime, Blade has overextended. He's being focused down. Full retreat comes out. Unrelenting strikes. Snipes down the ETC.
Talking about momentum, we talked about a 2-1 lead in kills, and that just got catapulted towards a 7-1 kill advantage. Level 14, they go for the Siege Giants. ETC is dead, and that's the opportunity to follow up on the earlier damage top lane to finally get that keep. They're not moving in for it yet. They're just getting the Siege Giants and focusing their attention. They've taken down the fort in the middle of the map too, but oh boy. Like, at any point, if the top lane boss is taken again, that keep is definitely going to go down. But what an advantage now for Washed Up as they are trying to lock in the final map and the title at this monthly final of Method Mayhem.
A level and a half lead almost for Washed Up as they sitting pretty at this top score right now. They just need to keep this momentum going. They are, however, miles away from the next curse, so Feel the Heat have a little bit of leeway, a little bit of safety. They're going to be able to soak their lanes and make sure that they have some time to catch up experience. However, level 16 is just around the corner for Washed Up, meaning that they are going to have a really big lead right now because that talent advantage is going to be a bit too much for Feel the Heat to maybe risk going into.
Yeah, I mean, bosses are going to be up in a minute and 45, so it's not going to be a problem too soon. By that time, we should also see level 16 on both sides. We can still go for the exchange, but the problem, obviously, is the massive damage that was done to the top lane. So you can't go for that even boss exchange anymore if you are playing on the side of Feel the Heat. They have to protect the top side a little bit more and trying to grab that if they can eliminate it as a potential play. Unless, of course, they get a good Sylvanas push going, but even with that, I don't think they can match it. So instead, we now have level 16 talents. You've had the synergy, first of all, with the Earthgrass Totem and the level 1 Colossum Totem for Rhaegar. And they are committing to the bot lane. Blade tries to buy them a little bit of time as the totem comes out. Got also the martial law here. And Blade, talking about him, gets zipped in again. And goodbye. That was not really necessary. But again, 2 o'clock in the morning, mistakes are bound to happen at this point.
Yeah, he was trying to just defend a little bit better, but instead he gets himself caught, gets hit with the ball lightning, blasted down here. And Deathwing's going to be able to chill in this bot lane for a little bit longer if he wants to before he flies up. But instead, he tasted the skies early. He's making sure he is here and available for the rest of the team. They're going to make their way up to top lane, and, well, no contention from Feel the Heat. Again, they don't have 16, talent down. They stay in positions where they know they're safe.
And that obviously is now an easy tribute for the red team, just simply because they have level 16, they have a 5 versus 4 going for themselves. They can establish even more control by grabbing that watchtower here. So they are capitalizing on the advantages as best as they can without really overextending or risking too much. Still, Deathwing hiding in the bush. Sure. So they're trying to go for Wit here, who's, by the way, at 85 stacks again, so he has a fairly good hit point pool. And
that will help him quite a bit.
Blade sits at the bottom of the map, ready for the stage dive if he needs it. There's the slow, there's the blast shield. They're trying to go with a move for Ultralisk here. Dino is also in play, and that could be the end of Diablo, and it is. He gets the Apocalypse through, but that's not going to be enough. Blade jumped in as well. Ultralisk is about to fall. Maya!
Still alive!
The save of X-Ray. Nicely done. Even Blade got out.
Blade, well, he was out. He's back. He's trying to buy time. His team is on the way in. Deathwing's back in the sky. Root comes in. Self-ancestral for Banana H. Ultras pulls in, but he's got real deep. Media's coming in, and Deathwing from the sky. X-Ray's taken out on the side by Nick and Masquerade as they look for Blade. And if they get these kills, they can move in through top lane and potentially end the game. Blade, focus down, chase down. Top lane, Cassie's already setting this up, and Washed Up are going for gold.
Yeah, they're going straight in. It's 1-3-3-7 on the clock as they are putting the final touches onto the keep. They are on the way to the core. There is another move onto Sylvanas, and that is the end of Dino. It might just be the end of their game, Tetcher. The end of this tournament, the end of the grand final, as Washed Up is going for gold here. They take Wit down. This is a 5-man wipe as they're going for the core.
The core is focused down. Maiev is back, but the health pools are too high. And Washed Up are gonna be able to focus this down and take the series. Washed Up, ladies and gentlemen, are your Method Mayhem champions for June.